Throughout the day, be breezy, the high near 39. Tonight, partly cloudy skies in the low around 23. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be warm, the high near 58. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all of the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket sports news go now.
This is Rudy Gress IV with your Ticket Sports Update. In Husker football news, safeties coach Miles Taylor is out, just 19 days after being hired. Taylor is heading to the Baltimore Ravens to rejoin Jesse Minter. In lighter news, the Blackshirts are adding four-star defensive lineman Dylan Berriman for the next season. Berriman is listed at 6'3", 330 pounds, and is expected to make an impact in this upcoming season. In NBA trade news, the Dallas Mavericks traded Anthony Davis to the Washington Wizards along with Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum. In return, Dallas receives Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley III, and 2 first-round and 3 second-round picks. The Philadelphia 76ers traded guard Jared McCain to the Oklahoma City Thunder in exchange for a 2026 first-round pick and 3 second-round picks as well. Don't forget, your Husker women's basketball team travels to Ann Arbor to face number 8 Michigan tonight on the road. And for all the latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Blackshirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour 1 of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome in a beautiful Wednesday now that the snow/winter mix has stopped falling here in the afternoon. Austin Orman and Jay Foreman with you for the next 3 hours, 3 to 6 p.m. weekdays, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 402-464-5685 if you want to get in touch, have anything you want to voice throughout the course of the show. We would love to hear from you all show long. He's back. Jay Foreman, what's up?
Yeah, back like I never left. I would say back like a bad case of hemorrhoids, but I don't want to be associated with that.
Yeah.
Back like an itch on your butt.
I don't know if that's much better. Slightly. I'll give you that.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll keep trying till one of them catches.
Jay Foreman is back like a bad itch on your butt.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
That's right.
So, big thanks to Graham Tire, who will scratch the itch on your butt or change your car's tires. Probably just the car tire thing. They're more than just tires. They do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. They've been serving the Midwest for 75 years, so you know they've built that great reputation of trust. It's Graham Tire getting you to the places that matter most. Again, 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Jay, let's dive right into the conversation. Had some coaching news in the Nebraska football ranks over really the last 48 hours or so. Let's start with the special teams news. Didn't get a chance to talk much about that yesterday. Josh Martin out. He takes the job at Liberty High School down in Argyle, Texas, replacing Jason Witten. One of the guys that was supposed to be the tip of the spear when it came to the special teams for Nebraska. He'd been on staff for a few years. Of course, he was the interim tight ends guy after everything that went down with Bob Wager.
Yeah.
Then moved back into that special teams role and assistant special teams role. He departs the program to go be a high school head coach back home in Texas. His dad is the president or executive director of some 5-letter acronym association for Texas football down there. Good for him, moving back closer to home and family. Opportunity to be a head coach, even if it's not in the college level.
Yeah.
Just a weird thing, though, to see someone leave a college coaching gig, especially at a place like Nebraska, to go coach high school football.
Yeah, and I think that the timing's a little odd. I mean, obviously Jason Witten was there, so obviously that started the tidal wave, or the avalanche, coming downhill, and then you probably got to apply for that job, and you're here working as potentially the special teams coach, not officially, but he was a seniority wise, where he's coached special teams longer than both of the guys that are here combined. And probably once he got a chance to be the head coach of a really good program, probably make the money's about the same. Obviously Jason Witten has shown you keep producing state titles, and obviously you keep getting guys recruited, you can obviously move on up and be a college coach. Now obviously Josh isn't a future Hall of Fame tight end and obviously a great player, but we've seen this before. I mean, and people don't realize back in the day, Tim Beck, coached in high school at down in Dallas. Forget the one real prestigious school, and there's other.
Didn't Chad Morris, wasn't he a long time?
Yeah, a lot of guys.
Yeah.
That's more. You're seeing that more because look, these the older coaches are starting to kind of go and start to commentate or be analysts. But then you see younger coaches, and they spend a lot of time with these high school coaches now, so they kind of get to know them. And if you have aspirations out there, you meet them all the time when they come into your school, and they have everybody has big recruiting staff, so you get a good reputation. So you don't know the dynamics around it. I think he had to make the best move. Like you said, his dad is in a leadership role down there over the whole state of Texas, so that probably fast tracked him to get that job. It's kind of hey, that great job comes open to call your son and how would you like to come back to Texas? And so, it obviously is good for him. He made the best decision for himself. Obviously unfortunate, as the news broke yesterday, because it kind of created a little bit more, I wouldn't say chaos, but just a little bit more uneasiness. And maybe they already had this,
they already knew
Humphrey
kind of, yeah.
Or maybe they always thought Humphrey and Brett would be the co-coordinators. Or maybe always had a plan, or maybe you just don't know the dynamics. So Nebraska was able to make a swift decision. And so, from there on, it's just got to work. So right now, every decision you got to make it work because the season's coming. And,
spring ball's coming.
Yeah, spring ball's coming, but then the season's going to be here. So there's not going to be much going on, as far as that goes. And so now you got to really lock in and get your staff focused and try to win as many games as possible.
So Josh Martin out down to Liberty High School in Texas. You mentioned Nick Humphrey, who came with Mike Eckler from Tennessee over at last offseason. And then Brett Maher, who was a special teams analyst, Jay, he got the nod to take over as the special teams coordinator. Interesting move for a guy that hasn't coordinated at all.
Yeah.
You bring him in, and why was he brought in? Well, it's to help the kickers and the punters. And certainly he's a good guy to do that, right? All Big Ten at different levels, both as a kicker and a punter in his time at Nebraska. It's a new Big Ten, but he's done it in the league before, was wildly successful. Went on to a pretty solid pro career, had the most 60-yard field goals in NFL history at the time that he last played. And then, he's found ways to stay involved in the game. He got that call from Nebraska and joined the staff in that special teams analyst role next year. I think you hit it on the head, though. You just got to be right with a move like this. Maybe Martin would have stated you offered him special teams coordinator. Maybe you always sensed that he had a foot out the door, which is why you didn't offer him the position, whatever it is. But man, in what feels like a pretty pivotal 2026 in a lot of ways, and especially with the way that special teams took a jump from last year, I'm sure Brett Maher, can grow into a really good special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
But he's got to be a really good special teams coordinator in his first full-time experience, year one, in a pressure-packed environment.
Yeah, but look, when you're a kicker, that's a pressure packed position. Up until Chris Brown Chris Brown and Steve Christie and
Mm-hmm.
Chris Brown again, and Brett's a good dude, and Alex Henry and all that. I really hated kickers and punters. I felt like they got it easy. But look, man, I think he's been around special teams obviously his whole life, and when he played at Nebraska, the special teams were pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
The great thing about Brett, I will tell you this, is that and Humphrey as well, but more Brett. I know Brett a little bit more and know what he's made of. Like, he's not afraid to, when I see him, I'll offer help, and he'll accept it. By no means am I going to try to do his job. We all want him to do well, not only for Nebraska, but for himself. So being around special teams, and obviously he'll know the drills and all that. Now he's just got to work, get in there and do the coaching thing, but you get to do it with Humphrey. And so the biggest thing is those guys got to work, again, individually, think collectively, divvy up the responsibilities and obviously come together as one. So obviously his specialty is, he was a really good punter and kicker. And so he knows exactly what needs to happen. He can help with coverages based on what, he wants his kickers to kick, as far as punts and maybe like kickoffs and stuff like that. And then Humphrey has to step in, but I think they're going to do it together. And you're right. Yeah, you can't. This is not a learning year for him or either one of them because of, the uptick from when Eckler was here. And one thing I would probably say, they don't have to be Mike Eckler.
They shouldn't try to be.
No, because Mike Eckler, what works for Mike as far as like jumping around in the energy works for Mike.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be who they are. And obviously, that's what's going to be authentic. And then obviously with the rest of the coaching staff being invested as well, then, the special teams should be A-okay. I don't, you got to take the opportunity for them. And then, like say that, first time you kind of like fumble a punt. Oh, here, because Mike Eckler, that could happen even when Mike Eckler was here. To be honest with you, the last 3 games were just kind of average, special teams. So don't sit here and try to hold Brett and these guys to an unrealistic standard based. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, your job is to catch a punt. Just go catch a punt.
Right.
Coaching should have nothing to do with catching.
Now,
where you catch the punt and where you're looking, maybe, but come on.
I mean, he's competitive as all get out. It's not like he's over there and just say, hey, I'm not coming to any of the special teams meetings when Mike Eckler is here and I'm not trying to learn. He's learning every single day. He spent a lot of time, both of them did, with Mike Eckler. And so this is a great opportunity for him. You just never know where it can go from. I mean, really, there's a lot of guys that never been able to afford it to get the call to be an analyst, right? The opportunity, and he's able to do it because it was a spot of need, right? When Ed Foley was here, so he had to kind of come in as a volunteer or whatever they did. And then he did such a good job. They brought him back an analyst, and here you go. So the rest could be history. He'll do a good job. And both of them would do a good job. They really, to be honest with you, I'm going to look at it. They have no choice. So when you sometimes in sports, when you have no choice, you have to deliver.
2 questions off of that then. Number one, how important is it? Is it an advantage at all for Nebraska to have a former kicker and punter in that role coordinating insofar as he knows, the strategy as a kicker and a punter, like he can tailor the scheme around, Archie Wilson and Kyle Cunanan.
Yeah, I think when he's talking to them, and I like this. I guess if I was, coaching linebackers or helping or whatever, that since he's been in those positions and he knows things about returners that even probably Mike Eckler doesn't know.
Although they might not know about themselves.
Right, because when you play or when you kick in the NFL, you have to be studious. It's not just show up and kick it, and then do all that. So I think it's really good. I think he also can really put a spin on what type of kickers he wants to work with, and it might change. If you're not able to get a rugby style kicker and say like a recruiting class, then you have to get a more conventional kicker, and he's able to kind of compromise the system or adjust the system to whatever his personnel's at. So, I think both of them, got a big task in hand, but I think earlier in the offseason is better. They have plenty of time to look at what they learned last year and make it their own, teach it, double down, reteach it, double down, expand it, double down. And then as the offseason goes, it's going to be their kind of like baby or whatever. and then the guys got to go out there and play. I mean, you know, the standard should never change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if it's conditional based on Mike Eckler out there jumping around before you kick off, or Brett, you know, kind of talking to you, and he might do the same in his own way. The end has got to be the end. Like, you got to hit that line running, and you got to go down there and make a play. So it'll just be interesting to see how they divvy up stuff, and then they kind of piggyback off each other and go through the going. And I'm sure that the rest of the coaches know that this is a big opportunity for them and a big task, and they'll be there to support them.
Even if it's just quote unquote special teams, you know, it's the third phase of the game. And I would never denigrate special teams. But maybe Husker fans would be looking around. Okay, whatever. Cool. But Jay, what does it mean that Matt Rule has a former player now on staff and one that's been successful at Nebraska, right? We talked about that, with Colorado, Miami at times, having that DNA. And no, Brett Maher never won a championship. That's still an all-conference type of player. And, even if it's not, bring back the 90s staff or all those guys or what have you, Brett Maher is at least right. Brett Maher is at least a player that has had legitimate success at Nebraska. The kids can remember who he is. They can go dial up his highlights on YouTube. How important is that aspect of things, that he's not just on staff, but now in kind of a more forward-facing role?
Well, yeah, I never crossed my mind just because I know him as Brett. And another thing, I think he's just newly into the Hall of Fame, I think, this year too. Text line and correct me if I'm wrong. I think he went in the Hall of Fame this year. So, I mean, I think it's good to have, a good coach, number one. And then obviously the cherry on top that he's a former player. I think there should be more former players involved and stuff like that, even if it's a consultant analyst and all that. That's just my opinion. And, it's good. I mean, I think, I guess, wouldn't say long overdue, but I just think that's just an addition to it. And Brett will do a good job. So, I mean, I think, he has, now you got more pressure, Brett, if you're listening. You're online for all us former players.
Don't let us down, Mr. Kicker. All eyes on you. Just don't miss.
Because don't miss. Because there's certain media members and stuff. Here's what's funny. Because I've been here and just been able to sit there and watch. As soon as you get like a former player, we can't have a guy that knows what. Then you go back and say Frost. So since it didn't work with Frost, we can't ever have a Nebraska former player or something like that. And it's the dumbest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, individual actions can't speak for everybody else.
Right. Operate individually does not represent collectively.
Right. And then if they made mistakes and didn't do their job, leave them as coach whoever or whatever. But I think Brett will do a good job. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for, Humphrey. I don't know him that well. But obviously he came with Eckler. And so, they just got to get in there and dig in, man. This is a great opportunity. I'm telling you this right now. I think it was announced last night.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm sure they knew during the day. Pretty good drive home. You leave home Monday or Tuesday morning, and then maybe they had a little inclination or whatever. But maybe you leave home Tuesday Brett was an analyst, and then Humphrey was assistant coach. Heck, you leave the office. I'm a special teams coach.
STC.
Yeah, special
coordinate.
Probably a little bit of a pay bump, and that's. I mean, I know it's special teams. People that the one thing I'll tell you about kickers, okay?
Well, first of all, before you do that, what's the worst thing you're saying to him, don't mess up for the rest of the former players?
I'm just joking.
But I feel like the worst thing you could say to a kicker is don't miss.
Oh, no. Yeah. No, yeah, I would.
Come on.
Brett knows I'm just joking. I mean, he'll do a good job. And like I said, it doesn't matter what he does. They should still always have some former players on staff are definitely involved in a multitude of reasons or multitude of different opportunities. But the one thing about kickers, you want to know
I need to know about kickers. The one thing. Here's
the thing about kickers, man, is that they would always be depends on the team. They would be in special teams meetings, but then now granted, when I got to Buffalo, we had Chris Moore, Ethan Albright. We used to call him Big Red. My man's hair was red as this.
Okay.
North Carolina, great snapper, really thorough, and really taught me a lot because I would play guard or tackle on punt team. So he would, kind of just hold my hand through it. So it was great. And then we had Steve Christie. All of them bona fide pros, knew how to prepare, all that. Matter of fact, Chris Moore, I think he went to Alabama as a quarterback, left as a punter, he would punt and he'd have a dip in his mouth. And the only reason I know is because he got after me one time, and because I didn't do a good enough job. And
then you look down, and where does mud come from?
Yeah, exactly. And here's the best part is that he got after me a little bit, and I got a little bit of tobacco on me, and he has a serious Alabama like draw or whatever. And I was like, I knew he was mad, but I couldn't really hear what he was saying, so it was cool. You know what I mean? But here's the funny thing about kickers. So they'll be in special teams meetings, and I get it. You can't meet for 4 hours about it. But they'd always be they would have too much fun. That's why I hate kicking.
Kicking it too much? Yeah, literally.
Because in training camp, they can't kick every day. This is when you had real two-a-days.
They can't kick every day?
No, like every practice. So you have 2 practices a day.
Yeah.
You do that back when I played. Like, that's 4 weeks. Twice a day kicking. Your hamstring would fall off the bone. You can't do it.
Fair enough.
So if they're not kicking, or if they're only kicking like extra points, they had to entertain themselves.
Oh yeah, it's like being in the bullpen in baseball.
Yeah, that's exactly what they would be in the corner, and they would have like a little mini bat, and then they would like be hiding around the corner and playing like wiffle ball and all that. And here I am, I got like a headache.
Yeah, Danny Smith in your ear yelling at you,
trying to make a team, and they're having a ball. And then when we're going out to practice, I'm thinking like they would leave. Mm-hmm. Well, they would just leave the locker room and they would just go chill because they weren't going to practice.
Hanging out in the training room or something?
Yeah, because if in practice we're going to get after it a little bit, and then we're not doing any special teams. That's why I was hating on kickers. but I'm gonna tell you, Steve Christie, Chris Brown again. All the kickers were really good guys, man. Jay Feely, he used to always be in there doing arm curls. Jay Feely.
All right, Jay Feely.
Yeah, when I played half a season with the Giants, I'd be in there trying to get my Friday lift on or whatever. He'd be in there just straight guns. That's it. He'd get a stretch.
No squats, no deadlift, no leg press.
This was his Friday. He wouldn't kick on Friday because we'd have practice, have a little hat or whatever after that. He would stretch, he would stretch, do his arm curls, and then he'd get a massage. And then he would do like his, like hot tub, cold tub.
Jay Feely.
Yeah.
Living the dream.
But
6 figures.
But he working hard in there though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny, a little old dude, because he does like TV, I think, now, and he does some radio. Mm-hmm. He'd be in there like looking at his arms and stuff. Yeah. And I hope Chris Brown's listening. Because Chris Brown actually, this is the thing, Chris Brown actually was a really good athlete. Like a 4.5 legit 40. He played quarterback at is it Lake Travis in Dallas?
Oh yeah.
That's where he went to. I think that's where he went to high school.
All right, Chris Brown.
He actually was a 4.5 40. Like, he was actually a good athlete. Cocky as all get out too.
Do you have to be a kicker though?
Yeah.
You're lonely position.
And that's where his competitiveness came from. And Chris got on the arms too. That was back like
on the regimen.
Yeah, he got on the regimen too, man. And he was a good dude. They were competitive though, and so Brett's got a little bit. He got a little bit more of the CEO look. Yeah. But he gets after it though.
Is he was a soccer guy in Omaha or something? Or is that
Maher?
Henry? And Henry was at Berg. Because Maher was an Omaha guy too, wasn't he?
I thought one of them was from Kearney.
Oh yeah, Maher was from Kearney. That's right.
Is he? Yeah, right.
Yeah. Because Alex Henry was the Burke guy. Yeah.
Well, they're all right. They're good. I mean, they look, they gotta. Hey, I'm gonna make it a point. I gotta go to the meetings. I want to see what they're talking about, because I'm telling you right now, because with Eckler, he played special teams.
Mm-hmm.
So kickoff. Here's the deal: is special teams tells you everything about your team.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the kickoff.
That's the look under the hood.
Well, you're going to see how fast you are, your overall team speed, right? You can get a good sense.
How much goes on in practice? Are your backups or fringe starters paying attention?
But they're still going to be fast. And are you physical? Mm-hmm. And are you disciplined? And, how much it means to you. And so that's where, I remember when Danny Smith came in after we had Rusty Jones. And Danny Smith, he was like, hey, I don't care if you have to start in the tunnel. By the time he kicks that ball off, you better be going full speed. And I swear to God, we did takeoffs for a month. And it worked. And the emphasis was on takeoffs and technique. I mean, we did one-on-one blocks. We did all that stuff like for.
Were you going like full Michael Johnson, 200, 400 kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah, like
Out
you're
the
across
blocks?
the street down there.
Mm-hmm.
You got to time up the kick because the kicker won't kick and you're running, and then you got to read the blocks, and then it's
on.
It's on. Yeah. I mean, we didn't ear hole each other, but after a while, then we got it, and then it helped me a lot. I mean, because that's obviously how I got my chance. But I mean, this is a great opportunity for Brett and not only a lot of those guys on the team.
Before we go to break, do you want to throw in the other coaching news that broke right at the end of the drive today, Jay, when I was on with Nick? Miles Taylor lasted a whopping 19 days in Lincoln. The safeties coach is no longer in Lincoln. He's headed to Baltimore to join Jesse Minter's staff. A lot of connections there. So Miles Taylor was at Iowa from 2014 to 17 with now Ravens OC Declan Doyle, who was a student assistant for the last couple of years. In 2019, he was a defensive intern with the Ravens when Jesse Minter was an assistant DB's coach. And then just last year, he was part of a coaching fellowship under Jesse Minter out there in Los Angeles. This is one they think it's odd timing. It's weird. A guy wasn't even here for 3 weeks for him to go dip. All the connections make sense as to why he would do it, but it takes me back to why did Nebraska need a specific safeties coach when Rob Warwick was told Addison Williams is your secondary guy?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe, probably, Addison can really focus on there. You could bring him in. Probably his pay level wasn't going to be too much of a stretch. And this is kind of like a lateral move. I don't know if he's going to be the full DB coach with Baltimore. Does it say?
I haven't seen that officially, but he's at least been hired by
probably like a little bit expanded role and
assistant DB coach. Maybe he's never been a full position coach.
So it's, I mean, I think Addison Williams did a pretty good job.
Had some good material to work with.
Right. I think he's done it. He commands the room. The guys, for the most part, play hard for him. But they not for the most part, they play hard for him. I think he can handle it, but I think he'll welcome the challenge because that's what he's always done. And as far as you having a safeties coach, you don't everything's specific now. You can have as many guys on the on your coaching staff now, and so that's why you have a lot more analysts and stuff like that. You probably need some more,
as long as they're the right ones in the right spot, doing the right thing.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with a safeties coach. We've seen people come in as nickel coaches and they do something else. Plus, I think when you're thinking about it, he probably was familiar with what Rob wants. Because you got to think it's not happening now, but when he originally made it before we go to break, you have your safety coach that knows your scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Rob was a linebacker coach. He's a D coordinator and was a linebacker and linebacker coach prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Manning as the edge coach. So and then also you have Brown as he has some, he is familiar with Rob. So literally, how do you build a good defense? Ideally, strong up the middle, and then you need the coaching to go with it. But since he's gone, I don't think it'd be a big deal.
Yeah, it's just an interesting move. Kind of weird timing. Again, 19 days after he was officially hired to a position that I didn't know Nebraska needed to hire to.
Yeah, I was a little surprised when it happened, and maybe he was looking for an opportunity to leave where he was at before. Because where was he at? Where was he at before?
Miles Taylor?
Yeah.
Well, he was a coaching fellow with the Chargers out in L.A.
last year, the whole year.
All season.
Yeah, and then he was at South Dakota before that.
Yes.
With Rob.
Yes.
Right, yeah. So, he was trying to get on somewhere, and he had to jump at it. And at that time, I bet you Mentor didn't have the job yet.
Right. So, at that point, no.
Yeah, so, I mean, this part of it, look, the portal is always open.
Coaches and players.
Yeah.
So, good stuff there. We'll talk some more Nebraska football throughout the rest of the hour, but really a athletic department-wide update. Nebraska is going to add about 150 scholarships over the next 3 years. What does that mean for various programs? What does that look like from a business sense? He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. We'll be back to tell you more.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Just got new tires put on my car today.
You did? I did see you leave the office.
I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off and they were done.
You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service?
That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion, for happier, healthier, furry friends.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Culture and Coffee with Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys is back this Friday, February 6th, featuring members from the Nebraska baseball team. Stop by this Friday between 5 and 8 p.m. as we turn the ticket into a skate park. You heard that right, a skate park, and also highlight the upcoming year for Husker baseball with players from the team. Again, that's 5 to 8 p.m. this Friday, February 6th, for a live broadcast of Culture and Coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a Vintage Market Plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you won't want to miss.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new Delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of wintry mix this morning. Otherwise, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day. Be breezy. The high near 39. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and the low around 23. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be warm. The high near 58. I'm meteorologist Kyle Bucket for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln's Coffee Week is now Coffee Month in February. With 25 participating venues, visit and check into at least 10 for a chance to win a $250 gift card to the venue of your choice. More details at lincoln.org/coffee-month, brought to you by Visit Lincoln.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing. And we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. Lost Norman J. Foreman with you. Rolling right along through hour one, which is brought to you, as always, by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. They're based out of Hallam, Nebraska. They have all sorts of good stuff they can offer, including free estimates, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and lifetime warranties on everything while keeping their prices affordable. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family-owned with their own team of installers. Give Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today for more information, 402-430-3852. You can also visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. This crossed the wire earlier this morning, Jay. Just kind of from a business perspective, right? We know the business of sports continues to grow and grow and grow. It's a big selling point and a big talking point for the university and its leadership that Nebraska athletics is self-sustaining, right? It's giving money to the academic side. It's not taking from it. And I think Nebraska, is kind of flexing that muscle with an announcement it made today. They're going to boost its scholarship total for each of the next 3 years. Was part of a plan that will eventually pay full ride scholarships for every women's sports participants and add funding for dozens of male student athlete scholarships as well. The official numbers, 151 new scholarships over the next 3 years, 96 for women, 55 for men, which would then bring Nebraska to 433 total scholarships when it's all said and done. And of course, these scholarships, Jay, can get added because they're outside the bounds of the revenue sharing, right? That's why Nebraska is taking the step to do this. This has nothing to do with the 20.3 million or 21.4 million that we're going to see coming for next year's cap. This is above and beyond and or, outside of that realm. Interesting move by Nebraska. I think I like it on its face. Curious to see what the actual business ramifications for it are.
Well, I think it's obviously it piggybacks on the flag football, right? And now you're doing this where you're expanding it to, even to a bigger realm. I think women's sports are obviously growing and obviously expanding as well. And so I think a state like Nebraska that has always supported, all women's sports. I think it's obviously the business model will be good. It'll be supported definitely here locally. And you can kind of make your, come in and really create a big footprint in this area, right? So it's needed. And in this right here, you can be kind of the pioneer right here in that realm. And so to be able to have some options outside of the revenue sharing obviously bodes well for Nebraska and obviously trying to be in the forefront or things like that. But on the flip side, this is what I think. The better football does, the better this does.
Oh, without doubt.
So it kind of always comes back to football, but you're not minimizing it. Right. The better football does maximizes this because if you start to become viable in football, Nebraska's, just say Nebraska's back. They're always in the college football playoffs or in the discussions deep into the season, or this is what they're doing else outside of this.
Yeah.
How are they doing it? How are they financially stable and viable doing both? Right?
Yeah.
Football team is taking a big jump. The basketball has continued to grow.
You're getting those units, 3 or 4 out of every 5 years.
Right. And the basketball team's growing, both the men and women. The volleyball team, softball, baseball. That's what you try to do. And then you're able to do the extra, extracurriculars. But obviously it's pretty good. And then it's, obviously the education part is obviously huge. You can, who knows, where you can take your after football or after sports life, is whether you're male or female. In this case, the women's sports. And so it's a great opportunity, and Nebraska is trying to be at the forefront of it.
The numbers that Evan Bland, who will have on the show coming up at about 4:30, we'll definitely talk more with him about this. He says Nebraska will add 78 new scholarships next year, 32 in 27-28, and 41 new ones in 28-29. Which again, Troy Dannon says the women's sports, I think the 15 varsity sports that they'll offer on the women's side will all be fully funded, and then the 10 men's sports will have about 80% of the maximum amount. I'm glad you went there with football, Jay, because that makes perfect sense to me, right? The NCAA tournament units from basketball will help a little bit, but holy smokes, big bowl payouts, big conference media rights payouts for football. I got to assume that's where the bulk of this money is coming from. The more bigger games Nebraska plays in, the bigger those payouts get. Even the more, merchandise and sales in the football stadium, it's all going to contribute to this. And I think that that's going to be that kind of trickle down effect from football, which Evan reports Nebraska didn't even have the 105 players on scholarship last year. They had a roster that was above and beyond, but Evan reports that Nebraska had fewer than 90 scholarship players, or will have fewer than 90 scholarship players this year. Not only can football bring that up to the full 105, you think about a team like baseball that wants to be competitive on the national scene. Everyone used to be, right? They used to be working with 11.7 scholarships. Now they can go up to 34. Evan says that most SEC baseball teams are at 34, and Nebraska is about halfway there right now. So if you want to, boost up your other programs and continue to make them competitively viable, this is where I think it goes back to your cash cow needs to put out a lot of milk.
Yeah, it's got to be cashing. And, look, I mean, it's big time sports now. Obviously, there's no more purity of the sports, and it's obviously all for profit. So when there's big money, there becomes big pressure, but that's why you come here. That's why you're getting paid the big bucks as far as the football staff, and that's why you're going to have additional coaches in the women's sports and the ones outside of the revenue sharing that are going to still have to be viable as well. So you talk about all oars in the water and going the same way. This is it, and you're doubling down on what you feel like is in the future. And now every day you got to work to maximize your opportunities. And so, there's a lot of pressure, in the football team to be successful. You're going to have butts in the stands. So you kind of got that, already in your back pocket. Now, once you get the product up to where you can really be getting some of that bowl money, you think about the amount of money Miami was able to have by making to the national championship
in their own backyard.
But when they go and try to get Mensah and his number one receiver and have to pay a buyout and all that, you already got that cash in hand. Yeah. You're able to do a lot more when the more you advance. That's why it's so important to get in the dance. There's a rhyme for you.
Spitting bars.
You know that.
Jay Foreman.
I rapped one time at one of my friends.
Dame Dollar style?
No.
Even better?
Vince Young style.
Oh, okay.
I was down I was with Sean Bryson, and we were down in Asheville, North Carolina. We were tore up from the floor up. We got lost. And I started flowing for 5 minutes straight.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
No, I don't know if it was good. I think I probably repeated. I had it. My first minute was like a minute and a half was on repeat.
Everyone's got a chorus, right?
I came back to my
got into it. So
yeah, I do not remember what I was saying, but they said they made me feel like I was flowing.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
Derek and Cart, Austin and Jay, is the revenue share the amount the cap, or can boosters add on that to $21.4 million for next year? Thanks. Good show. Derek, appreciate it. Jay, I think the rules are still the same in that the revenue sharing cap is what the university can do, and then NIL is still outside of the university.
Yeah, there's still opportunities out there, and really, to be honest with you, there's no regulations, it seems like, on NIL, because I just was seeing reading an article about LSU and Lane Kiffin, how LSU told on themselves from the very beginning, because they were telling, they said they had more than the $25 million. Well, I think the revenue share is like 22. So obviously they're going above and beyond. So
yeah,
right now, the NIL opportunities, you can have people on full scholarship. You can get people on NIL scholarships or whatever they're able to kind of.
Which is why I think football was probably sub.
Right. And that's a great opportunity to do it, where you're able to really go out and offer guys all the same stuff above what other teams can do. And so, to answer that, the NIL can still be in effect.
Gorilla Bear says Dylan Berryman is in. Indeed he is. Let's talk about that commitment, National Signing Day, and what that could mean for Nebraska to wrap up Hour 1.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Culture and Coffee with Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys is back this Friday, February 6th, featuring members from the Nebraska baseball team. Stop by this Friday between 5 and 8 p.m. as we turn the ticket into a skate park. You heard that right, a skate park. And also highlight the upcoming year for Husker baseball with players from the team. Again, that's 5 to 8 p.m. this Friday, February 6th, for a live broadcast of Culture and Coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a Vintage Market Plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you won't want to miss.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I Parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I Parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Hey guys, it's Austin Orman. Join me and former Husker Jay Foreman this Friday, February 6th for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Roads in South Lincoln. We'll tell you all you need to know about the premier indoor golf place in Lincoln while enjoying Friday afternoon action of the Waste Management Open. Stop by for giveaways, prizes, and a tour of the facility. We hope to see you there on Friday, February 6th, beginning at 3 p.m. for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
If you don't have Valentine's Day plans this year, strike up some romance at Madson's Bowling and Billiards. Head to Madson's on Saturday, February 14th for the second ever Love on the Lanes, a live stage front dating show like Lincoln's never seen. The show starts at 8 p.m. live on the bowling lanes with audience participation, hilarious Q&As, and unexpected twists. Reserve VIP or standard seating by emailing Sarah at madsonslincoln.com or check out their Facebook page. Come for the love, stay for the laughs, and leave with memories or a match on Valentine's Day at Matson's.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. I'm Austin. He's Jay. Appreciate you being along for the ride. 402-464-5685. Taking your thoughts all show long. Gorilla Bear says Dylan Berryman is in. Indeed, he is committed right at the end of the drive. We're able to pass that along when it happened. Big boy in the middle there, Jay, as Nebraska looks to revamp that defensive line. Of course, he's a 2026 signee, so he ought to be on campus come the fall. Wouldn't expect him to play a role in year one, but we know that's a position with a new coach in need of reinforcement, so I guess better to have the young man than not.
Yeah. I mean, look, he was the highest rated recruit, still not committed up until today. So, 4-star recruit, big kid. So you don't have to worry about size. Probably, got to come in and reshape his body to Big Ten standards. But, if they like him enough and obviously beat out Kentucky for him, and, Kentucky is a little sneaky as when how they recruit. And so, Nebraska should be happy. He'll show up sometime in the summer, and then, I don't know what the expectations are for him. But he has an opportunity to make an impact if he's as good as they, say he is. And it might take him a little while. I don't think it's a big deal if he redshirts. I think the biggest deal is if he gets better.
Yeah.
So if he comes in and seizes the opportunity, because I don't know if he plays basketball or not, but I think he does, which would be probably show me more than the tape.
Anything else? Yeah.
Look, you can come in and really write a name for yourself. It's a great opportunity for him. And so hopefully he's able to take advantage of it.
So Nebraska lands Dylan Berryman. A couple other interesting texts on our text line. Appreciate you chiming in 0064. Jay, we don't have a bunch of time for this, but I do think it's worth pointing out that Joey Aguilar is back at it. That man's trying to get an 8th year
I ain't mad at him.
of college eligibility. He went to 2 different JUCOs for 2 years each. Spent his 2 years at App State, of course, then committed to UCLA, but was part of the Nico Yamaleva trade. Had his redshirt year in JUCO, but he's still pushing for, again, an 8th year. An 8th year of college eligibility. If you're Tennessee, do you want an 8th year guy? Do you like having an older guy? Or at some point, you're just like, dude, thanks, you had your time, but we're ready for what's next.
Well, it probably depends on what they're paying him and then who they have coming up the pipe. If they have a quarterback that they believe in, they're like, yeah, dude, we can't help you. We'll help you get your waiver, but you're going to have to waive yourself somewhere else. I mean, the tight end, I think, for the Miami Hurricanes, not this season, but last season, played 9 years. Now, a lot of it was injuries and got legit medicals or redshirt COVID.
Yeah.
So, but still, I mean, that's a long time in college football, 8 years. That means he's 25, 26 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. I mean, it's a lot more job security playing at Tennessee. Just got there via the Nico, or I was about to say trade. But you got in the portal. You got this spot when Nico decided to go to UCLA. He was originally at UCLA. And he probably feels he can build on what he did last year. I think the age thing right now, it does affect you, or sometimes obviously if you stay in college for 6 years and then you'll be being up for your first contract when you're in 28 years old, 30 years old. But I think it also depends on what position. But then also, if you can make way more money than what you were getting projected as a draft choice, you got to stay in college, because if you play good, your draft status won't go down. They will definitely make an exception for you, no matter what your age is.
Thomas and Lincoln, who else does Tennessee have at the quarterback position? Well, I went to their 2026 football roster to look it up, and in a sign of the times, Jay, Tennessee has not published a 2026 football
That means they have
roster.
nobody.
It means they don't know who's on the team. It means the transfer portal is closed but still open. All that's on Tennessee's roster page is the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just a wild sign of the times, is that you should have an idea with spring ball a month away.
Yeah, Josh Heupel. I'm sure they got a couple guys, but I think probably Aguilar's better.
Certainly more experienced.
Yeah. And
they're 7 years.
And he's not on the hot seat, but, he needs the team needs to get over the hump. They need to be more consistent. And so if you got the quarterback position, you got to really – it's the most important position, and there is a lot of risk in the quarterback. If you have a guy that you can that you trust and that can kind of get you some wins, you can really focus your money and resources and energy to building around him for 1 year and then kind of get over the hump.
Right. Derek and Akar, any silent commits Nebraska's waiting on, or is it all done now? It's all done for 2026. Derek, Ahmad Hudson is in the 2027 class alongside Trey Taylor, Tay Ellis, Torrey Pittman, and company. Then 1508. Jay, can you imagine the transfer portal rumors back in the quarterback controversy of 94-95?
Oh, yeah, man. That'd be crazy with Tommy and Brooke.
Yeah.
It would have been crazy in the running back room, too, because it was deep. I mean,
like 6 dudes that could have played.
Yeah. I mean, people would have been plucking off our roster left and right.
You see that kind of happen to Georgia, kind of in the modern day and age.
Yeah, they'll come pluck your roster because we had, you got to think you had just in the run, Lawrence Phillips, Clinton Childs, Damon Benning, Amon Green, Jay Sims. And then we had,
then
I'm sure, and then
get Amon down the road a couple years later.
But he was in there. Man, yeah, we would have lost a lot of good players.
It explains a lot about the day and age too. Why maybe some of those guys aren't getting quite as good.
Yeah, and it's kind of there's the catch-22 on both sides. They got a lot of freedom. Hopefully, they just take advantage of it.
Right.
Not let it take advantage of them. When you go somewhere, have a purpose. Don't go there and kind of be a rented squatter, and then you don't even invest being there. Then you're like, all right, I can go somewhere else. And next thing you know, 5 or 6 years down the road, you're like, I wasted a lot of time.
Right. Because you're just there in body instead of being invested and dug in.
Exactly.
2366 also points out Tennessee should be playing in Lincoln this fall.
Yeah, that'd be a nice little game.
It would be.
Yeah. And Tennessee travels well. SEC fans. But we'll link up with them sooner or later.
Sooner or later.
Yeah.
Music City Bowl, maybe. Didn't go Nebraska's way last time, but
yeah.
We
can do that.
We can go to break. We'll do that. We'll talk some Nebraska men's basketball here in the first segment. Evan Bland coming up at 4:30. Talk some Husker football, baseball, and that scholarship stuff. Hour one of Old School brought to you as always by Heartland of Nebraska Windows, based out of Hallam. Free estimates, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, lifetime warranties on not just some of the stuff they do, but on everything they do, while they keep their prices affordable. Locally and family owned with their own team of installers. You can give Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today for more information. 402-430-3852 or by visiting them online, heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Nebraska men's basketball, that's straight ahead.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G165184, $2,500 down with proof credit.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Stop asking your friends if they're hosting a party this Sunday and come join the real party instead. Join 93.7 The Ticket for the Super Bowl at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O this Sunday and walk away with great prizes just for showing up. Why worry about making a great spread of foods for the game at your house when you can enjoy all the great wings and more at Buffalo Wings and Rings? It's the Super Bowl party with 93.7 The Ticket at Buffalo Wings and Rings this Sunday at 68th and O.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Diode Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diode Tech online at diodetech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124. Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, to brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive. Always honest answers.
93.7 The Ticket Sports News go now.
This is Nick Weimer with your sports update. A new addition to Nebraska's coaching staff is leaving the Cornhuskers for a job in the NFL. Safeties coach Miles Taylor will be joining new Baltimore Ravens head coach Jesse Minter in Baltimore as the assistant defensive backs coach. In January, Taylor agreed to become a defensive backs coach at Nebraska, where he is set to work with the team's safeties. He was following new Nebraska defensive coordinator Rob Ulrich, who Taylor previously worked with at South Dakota. In other news surrounding Nebraska football, the Huskers picked up a commitment from class of 2026 defensive lineman Dylan Berryman. He chose Nebraska over Kentucky. Berryman is the 250th overall player in the 2026 class, 26th overall defensive lineman, and 9th overall player in his class from the state of Louisiana. He most recently visited Lincoln on January 9th.
The Louisiana native recorded 49 tackles and 4 sacks in 15 games this past season. For the second straight year, Nebraska volleyball will play a match at Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln. The Huskers, coming off an Elite Eight run before losing to eventual national champions Texas A&M, will host Creighton at Pinnacle Bank Arena this fall. Nebraska head coach Danny Busboom Kelly announced the news during an interview on Wednesday. The date and time for this match between the Cornhuskers and the Blue Jays at Pinnacle Bank Arena will be announced at a later date. Former Colorado State head coach Jay Norvell is joining the staff at Iowa as an offensive analyst. Norvell spent 9 seasons as a head coach at Colorado State and Nevada. Norvell is an Iowa graduate and played 4 seasons with the Hawkeyes' football program. And for all the latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here at 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time. And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome in hour 2 of Old School. Austin Orman and Jay Foreman with you. 402-464-5685. Feel free to join the show. Feel free also to join us in taking your car to Graham Tire. They're celebrating 75 years of serving the Midwest. Graham Tire is more than just tires. They do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most. Up next for Nebraska men's basketball is getting to Piscataway, New Jersey to take on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, kind of in that middle bottom tier of the Big Ten right now. They've been game. They've been competitive. Not many wins in the conference to show for it. But yeah, I saw this from College Basketball Analytics. Top 10 5-man lineup combinations among your Power 5 conference teams. So this will include the Big East. And this is just in conference play. So not all season long, but just since conference play has started. Nebraska has the number 10 5-man lineup in all of college basketball. Out of all the combinations for all 360 whatever teams that we have now, the number 10 lineup overall and the number 2 lineup in the Big Ten, just about a point and a half behind. No, not Michigan, not Illinois, not even Purdue or Michigan State.
Iowa.
Wisconsin. Nick Boyd, John
Dang.
Blackwell, Braden Carrington, Alexis Belauskas, and Nolan Winter. Really that crew that ended up helping the Badgers take down Michigan in Ann Arbor. That's the number 6 lineup in the country. The other Big Ten lineup there in the top 10 is Nebraska's lineup of Sam Hoiberg, Demarcus Lawrence, Price Sanford, Braden Frager, and Rink Mass. Now, of course, that group hasn't played in all 11 conference games. It's only played in 9 of them, with Frager and Mass both missing some time. But that lineup in 9 games has played 75 possessions over 44 minutes. It has a net rating of plus 41.5 points, which is absolutely insane, absolutely elite. Now, of course, that's not Nebraska's starting lineup. It's Nebraska's starting lineup, except with Breke Butengel out in Braden Frager in. And this bears out, too, when you look at the Evan Miyakawa numbers season long. The best 5-man lineup for Nebraska all season long is that same one: Hoiberg, Lawrence, Sanford, Frager, and Mast. In conference play, like I said, they've played 75 possessions together. That lineup has played an additional 73 possessions together with an efficiency margin that's even better of 44.3. We know that Nebraska has enough depth that it can find different ways to close games. Jay, but I do think it's interesting that Nebraska's, quote unquote, best lineup so far this season hasn't necessarily been its starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you don't want to really depend on the numbers. You got to go the eye test. I mean, obviously there's favorable matchups for Frager. You're able to watch them come in. You're still a freshman, so they don't have a book of business on you as far as your pros and cons as a player. And then Burke is playing a role where he's playing fourth or fifth fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
When Frager's coming on, it's more like, okay, we're going to get you going. So it's a lot different. And I think they've been very successful with Frager, being off the bench, and that's the way it should be, because it works. And then the numbers are great because you can go to that lineup if you need to, but it doesn't mean if he started, you would have the same success.
Exactly. Which is kind of where I wanted to go next, because according to the Evan Miyakawa numbers, the best two-man lineup for Nebraska is Bearcade Buchtengel and Price Sanford.
Yeah.
The best three-man lineup is Bearcade Price and Sam Hoiberg. And the best four-man lineup is Bearcade, Jamarcus, Rink, and Price. Bearcade's in the other lineup combinations, which shows you just how valuable he can be. Evan Miyakawa has him as the fourth most valuable player on Nebraska's team, and one of the two most impactful defenders on the team. It's him and Sam Hoiberg. But I think that just goes to illustrate the point, Jay. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Your starting lineup is one thing. It's supposed to help you get off of those quick starts, build momentum, maintain leads, what have you. But Nebraska's closed with a variety of different guys depending on the situation. And I'd be curious to know, I don't have the exact access to the data in front of me, but to see which, five-man lineups are close to that from Nebraska, or to go back through every game and see how Nebraska closed, right? Sometimes they have to close smaller against small teams. They can close bigger against big teams and still find ways to win. They can go offense, defense. Regardless, it's interesting because, you have that lineup that I think Husker fans think would have the best chance to put points on the board in Hoiberg, Lawrence, Sanford, Frager, and Mast. But Nebraska has the ability to go defense first, really with, one simple change, which could be Buchtengel for Frager.
Yeah.
It could also be Buchtengel for Mast.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you flexibility, and that's why you're a 20-2 and top 10 ranked team. It's great to have, multiple rosters or combinations to make you more competitive because now it's going to come into, power punch and counter punch, if you want to box an analogy, and who can, really get to their better mix of lineup and changes faster than their opponent. And so, look, everybody's had some growth this year, and the team has grown. Obviously, the starters are the starters, but like I've said many a times, like when you look at Rink and he's 8-6, 8-8, and he's very efficient from the field for the most part. You're not Rink, but Burke, excuse me, has been a big part, is as big a part as Frager as far as the success of this team so far.
It absolutely has. Nebraska, like you said, is 20-2 on the year, in a tie for a second place official, I believe, now in the Big Ten standings. Jay, with those 9 conference games remaining for Nebraska, who's maybe the key headlining player, the guys that you normally think of, in the first few names? Who's kind of the key to how these last 9 games go for Nebraska?
Well, the easy one is Rink. I mean, it's more health related, but then also get back on track.
Mhm.
Well, this extended time off is probably really good. It's a mini bias specifically for him.
Mhm.
So that's the easy one. I think another easy one is Frager. I think Jamarcus Lawrence, because I think the reason why I think Jamarcus Lawrence, as you come down the stretch, right? Sam will probably check Smith from Purdue.
Mhm.
So you're going to have a favorite.
Well, Jamarcus will have his time too. But,
Right, but that's where he offensively has got to give them a little something more, whether it's mid-range or get into the rack, because then that allows everybody else and Fred to do his thing. So, and plus he's been shown the ability to do so. I think get a little bit more opportunities, early in the game would be really good for him and the team, because him and I would say Frager have the athletic ability and shown at times the ability to get to the rack. Or get it deep into the paint. And that's what you need. And that's what Nebraska's going to need to keep that offense churning when they get into, a pretty much, possession to possession type of game.
quietest kept Price Sanford is 41% from 3. Jamarcus Lawrence is at about 39%, as is Frager right now as well. And even Sam Hoiberg right up there at 39%. Nebraska's got those 4 guys that have stretched the floor pretty consistently all year. Rink Mast with his recent 6 for 33 stretch down to just 32.7%. But Jay, I'm glad that you went with Jamarcus Lawrence. That's where I was going to go. A guy that's in the starting lineup that has gotten his fair share of acclaim and praise from Fred Hoiberg for what he's able to do. But as a senior, I don't think it can be, too late for Jamarcus Lawrence to change his stripes. Not in a bad way, right? Jamarcus hasn't done anything that's killed Nebraska all year long, right? He's been fine. He's been solid. He's been steady. But I think now when you get down to, the last half of your last conference season, you get into tournament time, there are going to be moments that Nebraska is going to need Jamarcus Lawrence to step up. He had 20 points against Michigan, 10 against Illinois. In fact, he scored in double figures in 4 straight games. Last time he didn't was Northwestern. But for being kind of a, quiet, understated, under the radar kind of guy, there are going to be moments in these next 9 games, whether it is, against Purdue, like you said, whether it's, checking Bennett Sturts, going bucket for bucket with him at Iowa, Donovan Dent at UCLA when Nebraska heads out there. There are going to be moments where Jamarcus Lawrence and his contributions just save Nebraska for some stretch of time.
Yeah.
It might not be the Jamarcus Lawrence show for 40 minutes. It's really never been the case for him in his career outside of whenever Nebraska, goes to Assembly Hall to play Indiana. But, even if Jamarcus Lawrence, is just a 10 to 14 points per game guy, I think it's ideal for Nebraska that those 10 to 14 points come when, Rink Mass is struggling and it's Rink and Jamarcus as the main offensive options out there. Or, to start a second half when the other team's taking away a Price Sanford or a Braden Frager. Jamarcus Lawrence, I think, needs to be able to recognize those moments and take advantage of them. Hey, they're giving me opportunity here, right? I'm not going to hijack the offense. I'm not going to make it the Jamarcus Lawrence show, but my role as point guard, my role is getting everyone into the offense. Sometimes has to be I get everyone else involved in the offense by hunting for my own shot for a couple minutes, right? I'll throw the body blows and let the other guys deliver the knockout punches.
Yeah, it's going to be game by game, but I think just down the stretch, he's needs a little bit more freedom, and he's smart enough and strategic enough, knowing to play in or around Rank or play alongside with Burke or Price or anybody like that. So I think he's been really, really good addition coming back. He's obviously made his mark on this season so far, and it's up to him to continue to do so. But I think he will do that because the way he plays in his skill set adds, really, obviously with the full roster, you feel a little bit better about that game this past weekend.
How important is it, you think, that Nebraska can get to 8 guys deep, right? We mentioned that starting lineup. Important. You look at Frager and Jacobson off the bench, get you to 7, but 3 consecutive no-shows from Jared Garcia, and Leo Curtis was only given those spot minutes against Michigan. 7's fine. I feel like 8 would be better. Who do you think steps up?
I'll just say Garcia because I've seen him do it before. I've seen him against Illinois. And again, this bye week with Rink still probably,
fighting
back. It's a great opportunity for him to step in there because the practice reps and at that position, they're going to need both of them. So I like his ability to he can hit the 3 a little bit, obviously not to the clip that Rink, but then he can body a little bit, has enough lift to where he could be an inside presence. And so, whatever he needs to do to get back on the court, or, whether it's in the team locker room or practice, he needs to do.
That's a guy that we bring up that game against Illinois, for good reason. 10 points in 10 second half minutes really helped key Nebraska down the stretch. That's just another veteran presence, though, at the end of games, right? Even if he's just a body to throw at other big bodies for a while, Jared Garcia can't become unplayable now.
Yeah.
You would think, especially for an upperclassman, you'd be able to push through kind of the doldrums and the wall after this long in college. Now, it's the biggest program he's been a part of, certainly the most winning he's done in his college career. And, they're still young men, every one of them, right? Still learning and growing through the length of a college season. But Jared Garcia is not a guy that can afford to go and be a shell of himself right now, even if he's, the quiet leader, the dirty work kind of guy. Yeah. There's a role for that. There's a role for him there. If Buchtengel is in foul trouble and Rink Mass is still scuffling, Nebraska can't roll with Garcia at the 5 for extended minutes, but there are going to be times he's just going to need to keep Nebraska afloat. He wasn't able to do that against Michigan or against Illinois, even against Minnesota, when he was kind of the first guy in that extra post rotation. Got some first half minutes, didn't do anything with them, and then got a no-show in the second half. And I know Fred Hoiberg would say, well, we were playing the lineup that was working, we're playing the matchups, and that's all absolutely true, right? I'm not trying to say Fred Hoiberg's not telling the truth. But, man, you can't afford to have a senior like Jared Garcia go into his shell, or a senior like Jamarcus Lawrence be passive in some of the biggest moments of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's, Fred and the staff, they got to make sure that they're, in constant communication, motivation, with Garcia, because they're definitely going to need him the longer you go in the season. And, this is a great opportunity for him, and the time is now. And he provides something that Rink really doesn't have, and he's got to be able to show it. I'm assuming that, they need to see it more in practice or whatever the circumstances are. But it's still a great opportunity for him to be a part of the team and really, or a big part of the team, and find your niche, and obviously put the cherry on top if you're able to obviously get to the tournament and win a couple games.
Yeah, Nebraska, per Ken Pomeroy, projected now at 27-4 with a 16-4 mark in Big Ten play. Nebraska now projected to lose on the road at Iowa. But then, Jay, they're projected to win all the other games, which I know that the math doesn't work out. We add up the win probabilities. That's how you get there. This seems like a really good stretch for Nebraska to get back on beam, right? You go to Rutgers, come home against Purdue and Northwestern. I mean, you got to obviously circle Purdue, and obviously the biggest game is the one that's in front of you. Kind of seems like it's set up for Nebraska to have this run over the next 3 games of 2 manageable opponents in Rutgers and Northwestern, and one really good challenge to circle against Purdue, where, you know, they're challenging enough, they'll provide enough resistance, but it should be good for Nebraska to more likely than not get that winning feeling back, and hopefully, you know, play well in wins, have something to take away and feel confident about.
Yeah, you're going to get everybody's best shot from here on out. You experienced it, you know, even in the 2 losses, but even 2 games previous from those.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially last 4 games. And so obviously you want to handle your business and go from there, but don't get off the bus or off the plane or start to prepare for the game as if this is the same old Rutgers or they're not going to compete. You know, expect their best shot, withstand it, and then obviously you drop the hammer whenever you can and then get everybody else in the game.
The other thing, as I'm scrolling back through that lineup data tweet, there's a bunch of good teams on that top 10 lineups list. You got UConn, you got Florida, you got Houston, you got Arizona, all the lineup in the top 10. You have Virginia Tech out of nowhere with an elite lineup. North Carolina has been kind of up and down, playing a little bit better right now. And then you have Baylor, random old Baylor, you know, who I think had some promise going into the year, but that roster, Jay, lost everybody. Not just a lot. Everybody was gone off of that team. The fact they found a lineup that works is great, but I know you have some connections to the staff down there in Baylor. One of the hazards of the transfer portals that you can lose everyone. One of the benefits is that you got a way to restock the cupboard. But it's just funny to see some of the super successful teams and some of the other teams just trying to find their footing still with lineups on that list.
Yeah, one decision by one player could be the dominoes that lead to 3 or 4 leaving, and whether it's going to NBA or another school. And, you know, just because you're usually a highly ranked program as Baylor or anybody else in that situation, don't think that just because you're one of your players says they're not going to go in the portal, that other people won't force them in the portal.
Right.
Meaning, like, we'll pay you 1.5 times 2x. Then he leaves and somebody else leaves, and now you're where Baylor's at right now. So portal is going to portal. It's just up to the coaches to try to manage it, you know, as best as possible.
How would you manage it if you're a coach?
I think you got to coach them as hard as you can while they're in, and you know, love them up and all that stuff while they're here. And then really just be frank and open and honest with them throughout the year. Basketball's a little easier because you got, you know, 15 guys versus football. You got 115, 20 maybe in some cases. But that's what I would do. I mean, you can't force anybody to stay at Nebraska. You try to get them to see the advantages of being here versus, you know, leaving for an extra 100,000 or something like that. But ultimately, that's the only thing you can do. Football included. You got to coach them as hard as you can here, coach them the best you can here, give them as much support on and off the field. And then at the end of the, you know, obviously you're going to want the guys back or certain guys back, but you're not going to, you could do everything right, still be in the portal.
Which is where I think it's important to make it a, you know, welcoming, personable program, but not take it personal if someone decides to leave, which I'm sure can be tricky.
No, you got to be a welcoming program, in tune with the times program. And then you got to make sure that whoever comes in doesn't take advantage of it. So,
yeah, welcoming doesn't have to be soft,
right? So it's tough because it's a thin line because you got to be really, really welcoming. You got to really make it like known that you want them and that they can come here, they should come here, X, Y, and Z. But then sometimes they'll come here and get too comfortable, take advantage of the whole situation, and then now you're sitting there frustrated. They're frustrated. They're not playing well. You're not feel like you're not getting out enough, and then you might muddy the water for somebody else coming down the pipe.
Lots to juggle, lots to balance. We'll certainly keep talking about Nebraska men's basketball. They will head out to Rutgers on Friday for a Saturday morning game, 11 o'clock Central Time. It'll be noon out there on the East Coast. We'll go to break, call up Evan Bland, talk some Husker baseball, some Husker football, and that article Evan wrote about the additional scholarships coming to the athletic department. That's all ahead here on Old School.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This ain't pop. This ain't pretty. This is Southern hospitality. The Black Crows. Blue-soaked guitars, outlaw swagger. The Southern Hospitality Tour. Rock and roll the way it was meant to be. Loud, raw, and real. The Black Crows. With South Hall, August 4th. Pinewood Bowl Theater and Lincoln's Pioneers Park. Tickets on sale Friday, February 6th at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Stop asking your friends if they're hosting a party this Sunday and come join the real party instead. Join 93.7 The Ticket for the Super Bowl at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O this Sunday and walk away with great prizes just for showing up. Why worry about making a great spread of foods for the game at your house when you can enjoy all the great wings and more at Buffalo Wings and Rings? It's the Super Bowl party with 93.7 The Ticket at Buffalo Wings and Rings this Sunday at 68th and O.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Culture and Coffee with Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys is back this Friday, February 6th, featuring members from the Nebraska baseball team. Stop by this Friday between 5 and 8 p.m. as we turn the ticket into a skate park. You heard that right, a skate park, and also highlight the upcoming year for Husker baseball with players from the team. Again, that's 5 to 8 p.m. this Friday, February 6th, for a live broadcast of Culture and Coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a Vintage Market Plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you won't want to miss. Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Diode Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diode Tech online at diodetech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Flowers and chocolate are great for Valentine's Day, but you know what really earns you bonus points? A massage. No, not from you, but from the professionals at The Body Shop. Now is the time to purchase a gift certificate for your significant other to make sure you're the big winner this Valentine's Day. Go to thebodyshoplincoln.com and select from their wide variety of specific massages. Once you've purchased, you can either print out the certificate or email it to the lucky recipient. Do Valentine's Day right this year with a massage from The Body Shop, right behind Eyeglass World at 56th and O.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome back in. It is Old School here on a Wednesday. It's 4:30, which means we're headed to our Aloe Fiber VIP line, where we welcome in Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, we're in that kind of weird downtime between football, baseball not quite started, basketball going on, but never any shortage of news in the Nebraska athletic department, eh?
This is, ultimate crossover season. If you're a good juggler, a lot of balls in the air right now, no doubt.
Are you a good juggler? In a literal sense?
Not. No, I'm not. I know people that are. I think it's a really impressive talent for the people that can do it, but I can no. You go three, and that's trouble for me, I think.
I can do one in each hand, but once you add that third one, it gets tricky for me as well. Speaking of some balls in the air, maybe some surprising balls in the air when it comes to Nebraska football specifically. They had Josh Martin leave for Liberty High School down in Texas, and they promote Brett Maher now to special teams coordinator, his first full-time gig there. Your reaction to both pieces of news, the Martin departure and the Maher promotion?
Yeah, I mean, the Martin news came out first when Liberty High School puts out that they make the hire, and I think it makes more sense now seeing the full picture when you see that Nebraska goes with Maher and then Nick Humphrey, who was worked under the system with Mike Eckler at Tennessee and then followed him to Nebraska. Now, I guess it wasn't total shock in the sense that Matt Rule had said that this is what special teams was going to look like in some of his recent interviews on the Husker Network. But Martin obviously not a part of it moving forward, and that's, I think, in keeping with the role that he had. I mean, he came on as a special teams analyst before the 23 season, and everyone might remember him filling in on an interim basis at the tight end position, coach for Bob Wager, who resigned right before the season started, and then he kind of fell back into that analyst support role. And Matt Rule has said at other times he's encouraged, or in some instances maybe forced guys to move on to other aspects of their coaching careers, just because that's not typically a position that becomes a career job for people. It's sort of a jumping off point, or an area where guys kind of rehab their careers in some cases at some schools. So it's interesting in the sense that both Maher and Humphrey were playing football as recently as 4 years ago. I mean, Humphrey was a special teams guy at Tennessee, and then Maher, of course, former Husker, who has a standout NFL career as well. So it's a Matt Rule hire, I think, in the sense, or a Matt Rule decision at least, in the sense that he sees some potential in guys who don't have a lot of that coaching experience elsewhere. So it could work out, but it's certainly a different setup than what they had in Eckler, who would become a proven commodity at the different stops that he had made in his career. And Nebraska's priority was the system, the Mike Eckler teaching system, and they're going to keep that under the new structure.
What probably wasn't a Matt Rule decision was losing a safeties coach in Miles Taylor 19 days after he hired him. Another one, Evan, that you think, makes some sense, right? He's going back to the NFL after spending a year there as a fellow. But I think it just kind of continued the offseason of weird optics in some ways for Nebraska football, specifically regarding the coaching staff.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It was in that specific instance with Miles Taylor, like you said, goes back to the NFL, and with a head coach whom he has history with at a place that he's familiar with the Ravens. So you can't fault him for that decision. But the message inside Nebraska last fall was like, hey, let's build some continuity, right? Like they didn't want to keep turning over coordinators and position coaches, and whether it was decisions made by Matt Rule or made by some of his newer hires, like that's kind of what's happened. Is there has been turnover a lot of different spots, obviously at defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, multiple positions, and now in a guy in Taylor who, quite honestly, I personally know very little about. He was with the program for less than a month, or right around a month, I think. And so Nebraska will pivot late in the cycle and find somebody else in that way too. But yeah, it just kind of continues this, I think, at least vibe externally, that it's been a program that struggled to gain traction, struggled to build and develop with the guys, the coaching staff that they've had in the room. So they'll find somebody else, and it's a talented group. I'm sure it's an attractive job for a lot of people out there that might think that they're settled into whatever other jobs they're in right now. So we'll see how that plays out. But it is part of a trend, I think, that Matt Rule in Nebraska would prefer to quiet down a little bit moving forward.
The Taylor one also intrigued me because we know that Matt Rule told Rob Orrick when he came in that Addison Williams was his DB's coach, and then yet there was a safeties coach added, which I get that, the more good people you can have coaching, the better, right? Especially when you have so few, if any, regulations around the number of people you can have on staff outside of the number of, active recruiters that are out on the road. But Evan, that to me strikes me as a position that Nebraska doesn't necessarily need to fill or name anyone, but that's why you have maybe, some assistants in the room, right? The grad assistants or whatnot. Do you think Nebraska pivots to fill that, or they just hand that job off to one of those grad assistants or, lower level assistants instead of finding, a bigger name to fill that specific safeties role?
Yeah, I think it's one of those deals where if the opportunity comes up to fill it up with someone who's more established, then you do it. And if not, you don't want to force it, especially at this later stage of the hiring cycle. Now, you are seeing Nebraska kind of move to more of an NFL style model with its coaching staffs, where you have a position coach and then you have an assistant position coach. You're seeing that on the offensive line now. You're seeing that on the defensive line. You're seeing that at linebacker. I mean, most of these positions do have a couple of different guys working in tandem. So I expect Nebraska will fill it with somebody, and maybe it will be internally with an analyst or a GA that they feel good about. But I think Matt Rule, his reputation is that he's not going to leave a stone unturned when you're looking for options there. And so I'm sure they'll put out feelers, and this isn't something they expected to have to do into February because, obviously they thought they had their guy, but like to your point, that's the way that coaching staffs are going now. You're no longer limited to a 9 or 10 person assistant staff. You can bring in however many people you feel like are necessary to maximize the talent that you have. And so I expect Nebraska would do that in some capacity. And maybe this is a situation where you do you give a guy a chance, and then you can reevaluate next year. And if you have to go with more of a proven option at that point, obviously they have the flexibility to do that.
It's worked out pretty well for us that we have you on today. You just recently wrote a story, Evan, about Nebraska adding scholarships over the course of the next 3 years. There's a lot of bloat in a lot of ways. There's a lot of contraction, but here's Nebraska doing what I think in, every regard is a good thing in terms of adding scholarships. First things first, how did this decision come about? What led to this decision from Troy Dannon in the athletic department to add these 150 odd over the next 3 seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Nebraska, first of all, they just in general consider themselves a leader in this space, especially with women's sports. And that's one of the big selling points with this initiative over the next 3 years is by that 28-29 season, every female athlete at Nebraska is going to be on a full ride scholarship. And so a lot of this comes with the rule change that happened, I believe it was December or right around there, that says, hey, no longer does your revenue cap take a hit by funding scholarships. That was the case this last year. So Nebraska had to say, okay, for every scholarship we give out to, name the sport, that takes away from what they can do in football or or volleyball or men's basketball or whatever. So that rule has changed. And, Troy Danon, the AD, was pretty steadfast last summer saying, hey, if that's ever the case, we're going to ratchet up those numbers pretty quickly. And so here's Nebraska doing that, phasing it in over 3 years, like you said, about 151. I think it's up to 433 then by the end of it, which is every female athlete and up to 80% of the male athletes. And so if you're a casual athletics fan at Nebraska, like, you're not going to see a huge difference in football or men's basketball. I mean, those sports are scholarshiped right now to be as competitive as they want to be. But you'll see it in sports like wrestling, which was limited, or baseball, certainly, which was at 11.7 forever and now can be maxed out at 34. And I don't think Nebraska is going to get there, at least not right away, but they're probably going to go from mid-teens to the mid-20s, which is pretty significant when you're talking about being competitive and filling out talent. And you'll see it in track, which was, I think, right around 12 or so scholarships, and that's going to be up to, you can fully fund it up to 45 now. So the roster caps or the roster limits have taken effect, but with that, now schools have that freedom to scholarship their entire teams. And so Nebraska's getting pretty close to doing that over the next 3 years. And again, I think you'll see more of that impact in some of the sports outside of maybe your highest profile money-making ones.
Let me ask you about that high-profile money-making one, though. In football, you wrote that in your piece on Omaha.com, Nebraska football went with just under 90 scholarship players this season as it moves forward with a 105-man limit that it will eventually reach. Nebraska didn't carry 105 scholarship players this year, or that's for 2026 that they're under 90?
No, for this season that just concluded, they were just under 90. And for what it's worth, like, that's pretty standard. Like, I don't,
because it used to be 85, so it's like an increase from what it used to be.
Right. Yep. Slight increase from what it used to be. But like, you look around the SEC or some of those other, kind of ACC and I think other Big Ten schools, I think it's pretty rare that you see schools scholarship it all the way out, because, and Matt Rule has mentioned this too, like, there's value in having some of those walk-on types, culture keepers, if you will, guys who are going to be pushing the envelope in practice and be glue guys and things like that. And then that's not to say that Nebraska won't find ways to take care of them in other ways. Maybe they have academic scholarships. Maybe that's an NIL thing. So they do find ways to, I think, compensate everybody to a degree. But I think you just kind of get to a point where if everybody has scholarships, then it becomes about the rev share piece and it becomes about playing time. And those are more finite resources now than scholarships. So I think a lot of schools have said, hey, we're going to go somewhere between, 85 and 95, maybe somewhere in that range. And then you're going to kind of fill out your roster maybe in a more cost-effective way. So I think that's pretty standard. I imagine that's what Nebraska is going to continue to do moving forward.
Evan, we know that Nebraska as an athletic department prides itself on not taking the dollars from the academic side. In fact, pouring into it. This decision to add the additional scholarships, do you think that that's Nebraska having the money to do so right now and they're just phasing it in? Or do you think this is a projection on Nebraska's end that over the next few years they'll have the revenue growth maybe to add those additional scholarships?
Well, I think if they felt like they had it all right now, they'd probably jump right away, spike it a little more quickly. So some of it probably is related to the Big Ten television revenue sharing and what goes into that. And that's a number that does continue to rise every year. So I think that's part of what you're looking at. Some part of it, I don't know how big a part, but some part of it too has to do with the women's flag football team that they're going to be adding. That's going to be 20 to 25 additional athletes for that year. I think they're starting in 2028, in the spring of 28, if I'm not mistaken. So that's another, at this point at least, sort of uncertain piece in that. So it's sort of prudent financially and just in the sense of, like, you don't know what your total number of athletes are going to be, that you probably want to ease into that a little bit more. And so I think they're probably doing their due diligence in that regard. And it's a new kind of venture. It's a new expenditure in addition to obviously what they're doing now with revenue sharing, and that's a huge line item. So I think that's probably the other piece, is you just want to give yourself a little margin, a little cushion as you're figuring out, hey, here are a bunch of new annual budget items moving forward. What's that going to look like? I think they're going to kind of ease into that a little bit more.
So Jay Foreman brought this up earlier in the show. I want to run this by you. He says that a big piece of this to him, I mean, obviously he's a former, national champion on the football team, but he says a big piece of this is the football team getting good again, right? Continuing to raise that revenue through, postseason appearances in those units, right? Because basketball, volleyball, both basketballs and volleyball, you would think would have a pretty good shot at making some tournaments of those units of NCAA payouts are a little bit smaller than the ones that the college football playoff or a good bowl game would be. How much of this increase in scholarships do you think is contingent on football continuing to bring in the revenue that it does and maybe even, growing and being more successful to add some of that money on top?
I mean, I think that'd be ideal. And I'm sure the administration's hoping that turns out that way. I don't know that you build that into your budget at this point. Like, I think the thing that you can count on that's your biggest piece of revenue is going to be the TV contract.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're gonna have your gate for football games and things that go into that, and donations, and the Husker Athletic Fund and all of those pieces. So I think if you're managing it out, you probably say, hey, that's what we have to work with. And if football breaks out and surprises people, goes on a CFP run, whatever it might be, then I think you probably reevaluate and you say, I mean, if that's the case, then you probably add even more scholarships moving forward and say, let's fully fund the men's side as well as the women's side. So, that's encouraging in the sense that, like, there's still room for further growth, right? Like, they're not kind of maxing out everything that they have with these scholarships necessarily. I think there is, the other piece of it is, like, who knows what college athletics is going to look like in 3 years with the rules? Like, will eligibility still be a thing? What's the rev share pot going to look like at that time? Like, there are a lot of unknowns to say, hey, we're just going to lock this in now in perpetuity. I think there's so much fluidity in college sports that you do have to be a little bit nimble. And I think that makes sense for another reason why Nebraska is making this a 3-year plan instead of a 1-year deal.
An interesting dichotomy that you put in back-to-back paragraphs in your P7 is that the baseball and the wrestling teams, I think of both those teams, being competitive nationally looks a little different, right? Wrestling going from 9.9 to 30 scholarships. I don't know what Mark Manning and his staff will do, but if you're competitive in the Big Ten, you're competitive nationally. Not necessarily the case in Big Ten baseball, where sure, you'll have your teams make the tournament and then go on a run occasionally, but we know the Big Ten isn't a power baseball conference the same way it is a power wrestling conference. For Nebraska baseball to continue to build and grow, do you think it's going to be more important for Nebraska to push to get all the way to the 34 scholarships to be on that SEC, ACC, maybe even Big 12 level? Or is it more important for Nebraska to take that first step of getting to the mid-20s and be consistently competitive and in the top half of the Big Ten standings?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. And what you've seen at Nebraska is it's going to reward teams that make the most of what they have. So it's no coincidence that Troy Dannon said this week that men's basketball is going to get a greater slice of that revenue sharing pie because of look what they're doing with what they have. I think wrestling certainly has earned a chance to receive maybe a more generous amount of resources too, given that it just finished second nationally in the NCAA tournament. When baseball has had its moments, like it won the Big Ten in 21 and probably should have hosted a regional and had a good year, in 2024, winning the tournament title and being pretty competitive in a regional. Like those are the moments when you have those conversations about facility upgrades and how else can you add to the resources to the roster. Like that's just kind of how Nebraska's been under multiple ADs across a number of years. Like if you show that you can win with what you have, then we're going to pour more into that. So, I think baseball's next step is probably a facilities upgrade of some kind. Like you're reminded of it every year they make a regional. When they went to North Carolina and Oklahoma State the last couple of years, like their facilities, Arkansas in 21, like they're really high end and impressive. And Nebraska, has facilities and there are some very nice things about it, but Haymarket Park's 25 years old at this point, and a lot of the amenities are still original to the stadium. So I think there are areas that baseball would like to get better in, and I think the administration's behind that. But certainly, you do get more momentum if you're winning games, and if you can find a way to host a regional, something Nebraska hasn't done since 2008. Like, that's the kind of thing that gets fans excited, that builds core memories for them, and I think would even give them more momentum. So, yeah, keep winning, and Nebraska will support you. I think that's pretty consistent, and I'd put baseball in that group.
The road to regionals for Husker baseball starts in 9 days down in the greater Phoenix area. Covering it all, writing about it at omaha.com is Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, as always, appreciate your time. I hope to talk to you one more time before Husker baseball hits the road next week.
Can't wait. Thanks, Austin. See you.
Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald, with us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo Fiber is where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Short segment to wrap up hour 2 of the show. Come back with us.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Every winter, I struggle with feeling sluggish and down. I've read about the benefits of red light systems, but trying the Spectrum 7 at MaxTan has become my bright spot. A few sessions of full-body red light, and I'm more energized and centered. It's my go-to winter boost, MaxTan.
This ain't pop. This ain't pretty. This is Southern hospitality. The Black Crows. Blue-soaked guitars, outlaw swagger. The Southern Hospitality Tour. Rock and roll the way it was meant to be. Loud, raw, and real. The Black Crows. With South Hall, August 4th. Pinewood Bowl Theater and Lincoln's Pioneers Park. Tickets on sale Friday, February 6th at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
It happens. All of a sudden, you need a plumber. Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Problem solved with Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Flowers and chocolate are great for Valentine's Day, but you know what really earns you bonus points? A massage. No, not from you, but from the professionals at The Body Shop. Now is the time to purchase a gift certificate for your significant other to make sure you're the big winner this Valentine's Day. Go to thebodyshoplincoln.com and select from their wide variety of specific massages. Once you've purchased, you can either print out the certificate or email it to the lucky recipient. Do Valentine's Day right this year with a massage from The Body Shop, right behind Eyeglass World at 56th and O.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovebneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
Stop asking your friends if they're hosting a party this Sunday and come join the real party instead. Join 93.7 The Ticket for the Super Bowl at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O this Sunday and walk away with great prizes just for showing up. Why worry about making a great spread of foods for the game at your house when you can enjoy all the great wings and more at Buffalo Wings and Rings? It's the Super Bowl party with 93.7 The Ticket at Buffalo Wings and Rings this Sunday at 68th and O.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. Big thanks to Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald for his time. Big thanks as well to Love Volleyball Nebraska for their sponsorship of our 445 segments. Don't forget, you can check out Love Volleyball at Nebraska at the Baxter Arena, and then throughout the state of Nebraska at different times this year. You can get your tickets online, lovbneb.com. View the promotional schedule and everything. And hey, they're looking for a team nickname. Make sure you get your tickets and make your voice heard for what you want the team nickname to be for Love Volleyball Nebraska. Jay, saw this tweeted out a few hours ago. The Julius Erving small forward of the year watch list came out, the top 10.
Yeah.
Tunde Yasufu from Baylor. AJ Bonta, Thomas Houck. Okay, makes sense. Milan Momcilovic from Iowa State. Dalen Swain from Texas. Chad Baker-Mazara from USC are on the list. He had Andrei Stojakovic from Illinois. Ryan Conwell at Louisville. Cohen Carr at Michigan State made this list. And Nate Ament from Tennessee made this list as well. The reason I bring it up, Rayfeld Davis of the Big Ten Network, a former Purdue guy, tweets out, "No Price Sanford on this list is wild, man. Unbelievable. Averaging 17 and 5 on 47, 41, 83, 22 a game over the last 5 on a top 5 team. The people that put these lists together are not watching these games, and it's sad. You know Nebraska's not going to care. Price isn't going to care. But yeah, come on. Price Sanford is more integral to Nebraska's success than Andrei Stojakovic is, and his numbers are better, right? Ryan Conwell
as a forward, though, right?
He's a 2-3, kind of the same role that Price is.
That's stretching it, though.
Ryan Conwell, kind of disappointing, underwhelming Louisville team. Cohen Carr is averaging 11 and 5, and he's like the 17th most important person on that team. And Nate Ament has been honestly disappointing relative to expectations coming into the year. I also don't get Chad Baker-Mazara as a 7th-year guy. So again, Nebraska won't get pissed about it, but man, I think that's kind of a snub for Price Sanford not to be on that list.
A guy with NBA heat coming up. I mean, definitely in NBA talks, and his run of the last 5 games, but really, all season. But the last 5 games has obviously been spectacular. It's the same thing. It's like you're not giving Nebraska any type of respect.
No.
And so if I'm a Nebraska player, or if I'm Price, I'm going to go make you pay for it, because that's ridiculous, because he's too good not to be in the conversations.
Yeah.
And on that list. And,
right.
We know probably, Seamus and them do a good enough job, but I think that, you're hurting individual players based on your national assumptions.
Right.
And by now, like I said earlier on Monday, if you are watching the game and coming away and not saying Nebraska's not legit in top 10 team, then no matter what they do, even if they win a national championship, you're going to have that stupid, take on it. So this is just a byproduct of it, because definitely Price, in the way he's played all season, deserves to be on there.
I'd probably give the nod to DeBonsa right now on that list, but certainly an incomplete list, I think, without a, top 3 most important player in a top 5 team being on that list. Plenty more to get to still ahead in college football and the NBA trade deadline, just about 24 hours, a little less than away from that. Been plenty of action today, plenty of notable moves. We'll talk about that. The college football playoff schedule was released as well. Plenty more on tap. Don't go anywhere. Hour 3 of Old School brought to you by Graham Tire. Comes your way after this.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top-quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sauterheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down. The snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
93.7 The Ticket Sports News go now.
This is Nick Wyman with your sports update. A new addition to Nebraska's coaching staff is leaving the Cornhuskers for a job in the NFL. Safeties coach Miles Taylor will be joining new Baltimore Ravens head coach Jesse Minter in Baltimore as the assistant defensive backs coach. In January, Taylor agreed to become a defensive backs coach at Nebraska, where he is set to work with the team's safeties. He was following new Nebraska defensive coordinator Rob Ulrich, who Taylor previously worked with at South Dakota. In other news surrounding Nebraska football, the Huskers picked up a commitment from class of 2026 defensive lineman Dylan Berryman. He chose Nebraska over Kentucky. Berryman is the 250th overall player in the 2026 class, 26th overall defensive lineman, and 9th overall player in his class from the state of Louisiana. He most recently visited Lincoln on January 9th. The Louisiana native recorded 49 tackles and 4 sacks in 15 games this past season. For the second straight year, Nebraska volleyball will play a match at Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln. The Huskers, coming off an Elite Eight run before losing to eventual national champions Texas A&M, will host Creighton at Pinnacle Bank Arena this fall. Nebraska head coach Danny Busboom Kelly announced the news during an interview on Wednesday. The date and time for this match between the Cornhuskers and the Blue Jays at Pinnacle Bank Arena will be announced at a later date. Former Colorado State head coach Jay Norvell is joining the staff at Iowa as an offensive analyst. Norvell spent 9 seasons as a head coach at Colorado State and Nevada. Norvell is an Iowa graduate and played 4 seasons with the Hawkeyes' football program. And for all the latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here at 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School, 1040 O Street on Hump Day. A little chilly. The temperature has dropped, as one Joyce Garrison used to talk, or always says when it gets cold, even though she lives in Vegas. So we are brought to you by Graham Tire. They take care of all your needs, not just your tire needs. They will fix anything on your car or truck. They've been around for 75 years, so we appreciate their support, allowing us to bring you some thoughts, some joy, and obviously, hopefully, some laughs here coming at you live at 93.7 The Ticket. But in this last hour, we're going to cover NBA trades. This is we got one more day, right, before the end of the trade. Now, everybody's waiting, probably by the time that we're 24 hours from now, if Giannis is going to be in Milwaukee, Chicago, Minnesota, Miami, or maybe we have to wait till the summer, which isn't as fun. This is more fun right now. We'll do, obviously, some NFL talk. Super Bowl's just creeping on the way. Can we do trivia? Can we do my trivia?
Shoot. Throw it out there. Here we go.
I will tell you this. I'm so excited for this trivia question. I've been sitting on this, Austin, all day. All day. From the time I didn't sleep well last night, but that's how.
Because you were thinking about this trivia question.
No, I was sleeping, and that's how I came up upon it. And I was like, all right, I got to do that. I can't wait for this trivia question.
First 2 answers for Super Bowl square? How about that?
You do the stipulation, I'll do it.
Okay. 2 Super Bowl squares. First 2 in with the correct answer.
Yeah.
To Jay's trivia question.
The first 2?
First 2.
Wow. That's all right. Well, how many squares do we have left?
We got a few, but we got to spread them out for the next couple days too. So.
All right. Everybody knows where we're going to be Super Bowl Sunday.
BWR.
Yeah. Buffalo Wings and Rings out there on
60th
and O Street. Mm-hmm. We've been out there for the last 3 or 4 years. Great time out there. So come out there. We'll be doing the squares. We'll be giving away some prizes from the ticket paraphernalia and all that. I'll get to meet everybody that's on the ticket. Probably get there early. Mm-hmm. And the food is good. The service is even better. So we go out there for Super Bowl. We go out there most of the time for March Madness.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So looking forward to that. So do I get to do my
send it out?
All right.
Throw it out there.
The first 2 texters that text in the middle name for Seattle Seahawks starting tight end, A.J. Barner. And also, I need you guys to Google him as well, because I love it. I love it.
The middle name for Seahawks tight end,
A.J. Barner, and he's from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it even more odd. We're going to talk about that on the text here. Here we go. We got the first one.
We got Jacob incorrect. We got Jerome incorrect. Tad, we will give it to you. Okay, we're waiting on another one. Is not
Cool Hand Luke.
Is not Jarrell.
Oh, 6296 got it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We got it in there.
I will be in touch momentarily, you two.
Oh, so
lay it on him, Jay.
So AJ Barner, tight end.
What does AJ stand for?
6'6", 251 pounds. Listen, you talk about setting the edge. Homeboy throws you out the club. From Michigan, 4th-round pick last year from Seattle. Albert Javante Barner.
Albert
Javante Barner. And then when you copy and paste his picture, look at it again and say, does that look like an Albert Javante Barner?
Does it look like an Albert? Probably not. Does it look like a Javante? Who am I to say?
No way. Albert's like a guy that like my grandfather and grandma used to go down to the Elks Club.
Oh yeah.
And Albert would be down there.
Albert's at bingo.
Yeah. Albert Javante Barner. He might be like your boy for OKC. Was it Rockstein?
Wait a minute.
No.
Oh, Isaiah Hartenstein?
Hartenstein?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might have that background.
A little bit.
Hey, man. Javante.
Dang.
Hey, you know, I saw it because they interviewed him at the NFL kickoff night.
Yeah.
And me and Jake went when the Chiefs played the 49ers. Now, I've been scarred because I almost knocked Jake out because he tried to keep me eat this like 4-day-old, purple cookie and kept it the whole time, even on the way home. But I would have went back down there just to ask him if I knew this.
Mm-hmm.
What tell me your real name.
Your real name.
Yeah. Albert Javante Barner. That made my day.
Incredible.
Congrats. We got
Incredible.
you. You got a couple squares. Eric. See, Eric, you do too much. Eric does too much.
He does.
No answer, Eric. And you're not getting any squares. If you win anything, we're getting it back.
Ooh, let me see if Eric's already got a square or not before he texts in.
Then his is nullified.
JJ is going to nullify the square.
Yeah.
Let's see. Perusing the list. I am not seeing Eric with a square unless Eric has texted it under a pseudonym.
Well, Eric, you're on probation right now, but the NFL right now, all the head coaching hires are done, and now the coordinators are starting to, find their spot. And obviously, you got Matt Nagy going out to the Giants, which is interesting because, he was brought in specifically after Eric Bieniemy left because the Chiefs fans got so comfortable with Eric Bieniemy having Patrick Mahomes and everybody else at a high level that they felt like it wasn't him, it was Andy Reid. Well, now you see Eric Bieniemy had a little bit of to do with that. And now they brought him back, right? And so we'll see how much that pays off. And then you have Matt Nagy leaving there, going to Baltimore. You have Anthony Weaver.
Didn't Nagy go to the Giants?
Oh, no, not the
Giants.
Baltimore. The Giants. Excuse me. I'm thinking John Harbaugh. But then Anthony Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like the musical chairs. Anthony Weaver was a defensive coordinator for Jake Sorensen's Dolphins. He interviewed at Buffalo and other places for head coaching jobs. Now he's back at Baltimore where he really got his coaching career started as a defensive coordinator for Jesse Minter and Nebraska's former defensive back coach. Vance Joseph stays put, probably in line for a pay upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Webb, he was the passing game coordinator.
Passing game quarterbacks guy. Yeah.
Well, first of all, Sean Payton fired Carmichael, his longtime right-hand man, for no reason at all. He's the play caller. Carmichael's the offensive coordinator. They're thick as thieves, but I think he had to fire him because Davis Webb was looking to be a coordinator other places. And
the politics of it.
Yeah. And so he wanted to keep him. So that's a hire, but you fired him. And Carmichael said it. I don't know if you saw the interview. He's like, look, after that game, I know Sean well enough. He's looking to fire somebody. I happen to just be that guy. That's a statement right there. That's not a good statement.
No.
Because Sean went for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
Stidham had 2 costly turnovers that had nothing to do with Carmichael.
Right.
It's on you. And then you're just that mad. Where's the self-reflection and responsibility? Very minimal.
Well, to do it to your homie. The guy that's been with you, through all the record-setting stuff.
You couldn't keep him on associate head coach?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Can't reassign?
We can't yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's very, very unfortunate. On top of Bo Nix essentially calling his own press conference via Zoom that Sean Payton, he's pretty much said Sean Payton lied about his foot injury. Sean Payton was saying it was going to happen. It wasn't a matter if, it was when. X, Y, and Z. And Sean Payton said he had multiple injuries in college. Bo Nix denied all that. I mean, that's just letting you know that this was a pressure-packed year, but it was very, very. There's still a lot of friction there.
Text line is saying Carmichael was just a senior offensive assistant. Lombardi was the OC.
Was which one? Who did he fire? Was it Carmichael or was it Lombardi?
It might have been Lombardi,
Okay.
but Carmichael did leave.
Yeah, okay.
He still went to Buffalo as the OC.
That's right.
So either way,
and they've been together so long. You just don't know which one. But he fired. Okay, he fired Lombardi. That's what it was. He fired Lombardi, and they both were his right hand man.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes you know what, you want to save your friendship and your professional relationship. Maybe you just need a different scenery, and maybe Sean's thinking like, okay, we got to really shake this up because we got to be more innovative, maybe.
Right.
But again, he's the play caller.
And see, that's always an interesting discussion to have because a guy like Bo Nix is plenty talented, but is that a guy that you need to get more innovative with, or just stick to the basics?
You need to up the talent on the outside, right?
Big time.
You could even go for, if J.K. Dobbins comes back, or you know what, you could draft a running back, and later rounds you can get an NFL starter late in the round. You could trade for Kyle Monungai from Chicago and have your starter right there. But I definitely think besides Sutton, they need to. I know they have Franklin, a rookie this year from Illinois. That's pretty good, and so you expect the uptick from him. But you could maybe get a veteran. Or get somebody, keep adding to that wide receiver core.
You couldn't have been the Amari Cooper team or whatever.
Yeah, or something like that. Or, you could get a DeAndre Hopkins or something like that you can get a, 50-50 ball as long as he's in shape and being able to stay healthy.
Denver, doesn't it Bryant? Pat Bryant?
But who's the other one? Is Franklin?
Troy Franklin? The Oregon guy.
Yeah.
Then there's Zachary Franklin from Illinois,
They
right?
had a Franklin and Bryant against us, didn't they?
Yeah, wasn't it Zachary Franklin, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Illinois had.
Yeah.
Both were very good.
Both were really good.
Helped Luke Altmaier think when Big Ten.
Because one was the deep threat when we played Illinois, and one was the red zone guy.
Yeah,
I remember that. So Brian, he was coming on a little bit, but ultimately, I think they need to get better on the offensive line. Obviously, they got trounced against the Patriots, so it's just always interesting after you win how quick things like that happen. Because you got to think with Vance Joseph, after the Dolphins hung 70 on him. He had to have a come to Jesus with Sean Payton. He's like, you have to let me call the defense the way I want to. So see how long that lasts, because next year will be significantly different for Denver. You're playing the first place schedule. Everybody will be coming for you. Patrick Mahomes is going to be on a vengeance. Who knows what the Raiders will be like, which they'll still be the Raiders.
Yeah.
But the Chargers will, if they're healthy, that's your biggest opposition, plus expectations and standards. So a lot going on in the NFL. The oddest hire so far is Frank Reich, who was at Stanford as a placeholder, but he was at Carolina head coach for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Is back in the NFL. And Frank Reich's one of the best human beings out there, like on the face of the earth. Well respected. He's with Aaron Glenn as the new offensive coordinator, which I'm just waiting to see how that's going to work out.
All right.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
I think he'll call plays good. But Aaron Glenn fired everybody on the staff. Everybody.
They're all gone.
Everybody must go. You've been here.
In his first taste of being a head coach.
Everybody, all the defensive guys, get up out of here now. Then, you know what? Wink Martindale already had a deal with him during the season. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. I'm going to be one calling the plays. Oh, you're not going to stay? That is probably, I hate it because I play with Aaron. And I know how he is, and I know what he's thinking. If I'm going to go down, I'm going to call the plays. But as a head coach, as a defensive head coach, you didn't have any input last year. You're the only team that not have an interception, I think, last year.
Yeah. First team in means forever.
That means you can't get any like a tip ball or like a tip ball and the lineman gets it, or he throws it and you just catch it.
No arm punts down the field, nothing.
Boy.
Man.
Yeah. And here's also an interesting one from Denver Broncos connection. Mike LaFleur?
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur's younger brother, who was even shorter, by the way, hired Daniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett.
Hackett.
Aaron Rodgers' boy.
Aaron Rodgers' boy. But the former Denver Broncos head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was at
he's at the Jets.
Jets too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, again, it's a bigger issue when you have the quote unquote Rooney Rule and you have a bunch of guys kind of regurgitated. It's really in your face. And, Roger Goodell said they're going to have to reevaluate things. And here's the honest to God truth. The Rooney Rule in theory is good. It should be good for both parties, the billionaires and minorities, to be able to interview for jobs, because it should change your perspective. But they tried to make incentives. This lets you know where the billionaires, like the owners, are. If you hired like a minority, right, and you decided, hey, coach, you get like a second or third round pick. You get comp picks. They're like, nah, we still ain't gonna do it. And if you want to hire whoever you want to hire, like New York Giants wanted John Harbaugh. So, but I think also, you could really argue like, okay, like Al Harris, right? So Al Harris was at Dallas last year, turned their defense around, especially in the pass game. He goes to the Bears, does the same thing. He's worked his way up. He did it at Green Bay. Everywhere he's been, the team has been successful. And he's been in a bigger leadership roles. Never got one interview.
No.
Where then you got guys like Mike LaFleur, who's the brother of Matt LaFleur, obviously coming by the way of Sean McVay. And you're not the offensive coordinator. You're new to the Rams, and you're not a head coach. And so they have to figure out a way to make it more appealing. I don't think you're ever going to force a billion. First of all, they're billionaires. You're not forcing them to do anything.
Right.
Right?
Again, you got to toy with the incentives.
Right, but you got
to, for better or worse, how it's going to have to happen.
And then they tabled they had like a fast track convention where they could, kind of help you with the interview process and stuff like that. So they need to really start, putting the emphasis and funds on it, because I think it'll help the league. By no means is it, just because you're a minority or African-American, you given a job. It's more to them to be exposed to the interview process, exposing the people that are doing the interviews, and helping them make a truly the best decision for their franchise.
At the risk of sounding insensitive, which I don't intend to do, we can take this right back to your AJ Barner trivia question, Jay. I mean, technically, by the NFL standards, interviewing Mike McDonald completes the Rooney Rule.
Yeah, it does.
And
that's probably why he went to other places.
He has his heritage, right? Again, I'm not trying to say it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, when that fulfills the Rooney Rule, his heritage is his heritage.
Yeah.
It counts.
Yeah. I mean, that's
but
true.
Is that the point of the
That's
Rooney
not
Rule,
the point of it, or the point of, like when sometimes they would interview like the assistant D-line coach. Oh, man, he's great. He's innovative. It happens, and that's just the way it is, and hiring practices are hiring practices. And I think it goes in cycles. Everybody wants an offensive-minded head coach. As soon as you see, we got 2 defensive-minded head coaches right now. And, then it'll start flipping. Say a defensive-minded head coach wins next year. Then you'll get more Robert Salehs. You'll get more guys like that. And we'll see, you get more D'Amico Ryans. But ultimately, there's some good coaches out there, both, I guess, black or white or whatever you want to call it, that aren't getting opportunities. And that's 1,000% true. Like, even though Mike McDaniel was somewhat of a failure in the Dolphins, he still, I think, is good enough to get another head coaching opportunity.
Just get him into a dome,
like Sean McDermott. Like, that would have been one of my first hires. Or
is Sean McDermott the new Mike McCarthy?
Not yet,
but he's on that path.
Yes, but I think he'll get 2 or 3 more opportunities. And he'll come back with a vengeance. But then I would question, like, what made Kevin Stefanski so appealing to Atlanta?
Well, especially compared to like a Sean McDermott.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so that,
or Vance Joseph, someone like that. Yeah.
If I'm Sean McDermott, that's the question I'm having. Now we'll see where it all works out, and wherever you get. I mean, it's a great opportunity for Kevin Stefanski, considering what Atlanta has skill position-wise and depth-wise defensively.
Well, the other one that kind of blows my mind, Jay, still is Todd Monken.
You want to get into that?
I mean, Did everyone else turn Cleveland down? How did they get that?
There was guys
man.
that. Did you hear about Cleveland's?
Make them write an essay like they're back in high
essay?
school or something.
You go in there and it's all analytical based. We see all that worked out in Minnesota. We need to get
It's
to that
analytically based, and you end up with Todd Monken.
right. And said he was always our first choice. Todd Monken is not writing an essay.
Brother.
He went Chat GPT or whatever.
Straight up.
The other big news throughout the league, and I'll touch on this, is the former Minnesota Vikings GM was fired, and then obviously it came out, and I think it may be working against whoever leaked this, but supposedly part of it, which happened 2 years ago, which is crazy because you just extended him 8 months ago, is that he had his first child, with a boy. It was a pretty intense and touchy pregnancy, and obviously there was probably some issues going on. And during training camp, he took 2 weeks maternity leave, and he must have only called in and Zoomed in. And that was something that, other people throughout the league looked down on. And I guess obviously maybe some people in the Vikings, so forth and so on. I will tell you this. It's like in the NFL, there is no off switch. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys have, their wives or girlfriends induced around the schedule, right? But you can't control it. Then it becomes a big thing on TV or on radio. Are you going to play or not? There's tons of players that go through that. And you got to make an ultimate sacrifice. But I can tell you this, majority of players, if you're having a high-risk pregnancy or whatever, or birth, they will be there. And that was the case. Now, I don't know about 2 weeks during training camp. And here's why and I'm going to tell you this from my experience of being was scouting with the Houston Texans. During training camp, a GM specifically has there is no sleep for them because you're meeting with your college scouting staff, your pro scouting staff separately. You're going to practices, you're going to meetings, you're talking to assistant coaches, you're talking to coordinators, you're talking to the head coach constantly. And then you're having an all staff meeting in morning and night around the schedule because you constantly have to be making moves. Now you have the majority of your roster already set when you get to camp, but then the bottom of the roster is very, very fluid. And you have to be able to say okay, Austin, say you are playing, say I'm him and I'm with the Vikings, and say you're at the Green Bay Packers and we liked you as a rookie 2 years ago. You played a little bit, maybe played a little bit more your second year, but they just drafted a tight end or receiver at whatever position you're at, a little bit higher. So then you're kind of in the, the bottom, you're fluid.
In the special teams.
Right. But you're just lower, and it's going to come down to if they keep an extra defensive lineman that they drafted or something like that. So I have to see what you've done. I have to go back and watch 2 years of tape, and if you play preseason or like those inter squads practices, I got to get a hold of that. Because then I got to be the first one. I got to put it in for you. I got to get in contact with your agent. So there is no timeout. It's a sacrifice, dude.
It is, but it sucks that we have to sacrifice family sometimes at the altar football.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's gross when people brag about missing the birth of their kid for something like that. Here's the thing. We all have our own professional ambitions, right?
Yeah.
We're all driven in our own ways. I can only assume Kwesi Adofo-Mensah was driven in that same way. I'm sure he was still thinking about the team, still thinking about football, and his role, position, general manager of an NFL football team.
Yeah, he wasn't a scout or something like that.
Right, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
I can commend him for taking those 2 weeks off. Maybe try to negotiate with the wife, with 1 week. But if it's a high risk pregnancy, I think at the end of the day, family's got to come first.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you have to be able to separate, your home life from your work life, right? Some jobs can come home with you, some jobs can't. I think that there are times that most people have to bring their job home with them, especially in a position like his.
Yeah.
But I do think in American culture, broadly speaking, there's kind of that grindcore culture, right? Where just work harder, just do more. And Jay, just on Friday, we heard from Coach Helt: get in, do your work, go home.
Yeah.
Sure, training camp, the really unfortunate time of the year.
There is no There is no not either. It's all day, all night.
Right. But that brings me to my next point then is hire good people around you.
Yeah.
Because yes, it's a big deal to miss training camp. Yes, you're the key lead decision maker. But if you have good people in place around you that you trust and that the organization trusts, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a talking point. But if you make good decisions that fit in line with the organizational philosophy because you've hired other good people, you'll miss them, but you won't at the same time. And it's just unfortunate for Kwesi Adofo-Mensah that this became a talking point, because I would argue that he did the right thing, even if, it was the tough thing to do, especially if it was the tough thing to do. And I just hope the Vikings, whatever NFL team has to make this decision next, has enough good people in place to afford these key decision makers to take 2 weeks out of the year where football doesn't have to be their 24/7 thing.
Yeah, it's just hard. Training camp is actually probably would be easier for him than the regular season.
Oh,
training camp is obviously you're trying to put your roster together. And you don't know all the details. I think it came out as kind of to make them kind of look bad, depending on who you talk to. The way it goes is just kind of real. I mean, that's the way the NFL it's cutthroat. You got to make some sacrifices. You got to make sure you're there. You have to be there. I understand why he did it. I don't know if I would have took 2 weeks unless if it was emergency, just because you got boots on the ground. I don't think that's why he got fired. I think they didn't come out and say the lack of success and the way that he went about his job and the draft picks is why he got fired.
Right. That might have been trying to provide some context for it that may or may not have worked.
It's something that kind of, I wouldn't say tarnish his reputation, but to kind of look like, okay, he wasn't able to he didn't draft well, and then also he didn't make other decisions well. That decision there is definitely circumstantial. I played with guys that had kids during training camp, and you miss a couple of days. It was pretty easy for obviously no complications. Like if it was a no complication birth, 2 weeks is too long as a GM. Understand the circumstances, you can understand it. And it's his first one too.
Yeah.
He got fired because of the analytics and using PFF and all that. He
went so far off the board.
Went so off the board and nobody hit.
No, not a one.
And also the other biggest reason is because number 14 is playing this Sunday.
How about that?
And that's what gets you fired. So anyways, we'll take a quick break, come back. We'll talk these NBA trades.
Woo!
One name that isn't mentioned.
Not
LeBron.
yet. Not yet.
You only got 24 hours. Was it Rich Paul?
Rich Paul.
Better get on that hotline. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Just got new tires put on my car today. You did? I did see you leave the office. I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off and they were done.
You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service?
That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G165184. 2,500 down with proof credit.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G165184. 2,500 down with proof credit.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Hey guys, it's Austin Orman. Join me and former Husker Jay Foreman this Friday, February 6th for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Roads in South Lincoln. We'll tell you all you need to know about the premier indoor golf place in Lincoln while enjoying Friday afternoon action of the Waste Management Open. Stop by for giveaways, prizes, and a tour of the facility. We hope to see you there on Friday, February 6th, beginning at 3 p.m. for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, second segment, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. We'll get back on task here. We're at the NBA trade deadline, day one. That's been going on for a while, but this is the first big day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of trades. Nico is not in Dallas, but part of the trade for Luka going to the Lakers, they got Anthony Davis in return. how soon they forget and how soon things change. Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell and a whole bunch of other guys are traded to the Washington Wizards. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Weird one.
It is. I mean, wouldn't you think that
bizarre.
Anthony Davis couldn't he veto that? Or
I
mean, obviously, it's dependent on his contract.
Right. I mean, he's got like 120 mil left on his contract, like top 10 contract in the NBA.
Yeah.
Huge package both ways. I mean, D'Angelo Russell's an afterthought.
Yeah.
Dante Exum's a solid pro that I think can help Washington. And Jaden Hardy, we'll have to see. I kind of like this for Dallas, though. They get Middleton. There's a veteran in the locker room that can still get some buckets.
Excited.
I would think so.
He'll play with Cooper Flag.
Yeah, Malachi Branham, interesting young kind of defense first guard.
And then your boy.
My boy.
Is this the resurgence?
In the right role. Marvin Bagley Jr. will never be, worth his draft position.
Yeah.
But hey, he's found a role, carved out a niche as a backup center. And if you're Dallas, that's kind of what you need with Anthony Davis on the way out. And Jay, you get a 2026 first, a 2030 first, and then 3 seconds sprinkled in as well. That to me is really the key for Dallas, getting out from under the AD contract and getting 5 picks back.
Yeah.
That's a huge package.
Yeah, they fleeced Washington, and Washington's thinking right now, Washington is thinking about, I want butts in the seat. So we'll see how it all works out. I mean, Trae Young is he still hurt?
Yeah, it hasn't cleared up as magically quickly as I thought it would after the
And Anthony Davis is always on the mend, so you just never know. The other big trade is James Harden from the LA Clippers to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Darius Garland. I mean, essentially player for player. James Harden has been a trade deadline master.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a couple places, or go to a place, leave. Go to Philly, leave. Go to Brooklyn. It just always seems not to work out. Now he said he's chasing a chance to get into the deep playoff run and championship, and so Cleveland's a good fit for him. If that's better, you have a better chance, especially coming out of the East.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting to see how it all works out and how long he's really invested in it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, I mean, Garland has the injury reputation, came off the left toe surgery, and now has a right toe issue. It's been really good, dynamic offensive pairing, but 2 defense optional guards. Mitchell at least compete. Garland just wasn't that great defensively for Cleveland. And Harden says, you know what? I don't want to get in the way of the Clippers and what they want to build. That's code for, well, they won't pay me the money that I want, so I'll go to Cleveland, where he can, get another deal, probably more years and less average annual value, I would guess. But Jay, this could be step 1 in a really interesting convergence for Cleveland. Tom Haberstroh of Yahoo Sports wrote this. His step 1 was trade James Harden for Darius Garland, like the flyer for the Clippers if he's healthy. I like the veteran presence for Cleveland's second offensive, kind of ball dominant option. Step 2, trade Evan Mobley and picks for Giannis and Thanasis Antetokounmpo from the Bucks. Okay.
Yeah, get the brother with him.
Right. Cleveland also, should be noted, traded Lonzo Ball today. Got his 10 mil off the books. Got some second-round picks from the Jazz, exactly, to get them under the second apron. They were the only second apron team, and they were floating around 500 for a while. But then, step 3, you clear the room for the Royal Homecoming one last time.
So LeBron and
James Harden and Giannis. Alongside, most likely, Spida Mitchell. And at this point, it seems like Jared Allen, Dean Wade, Max Strus.
Oh, they would be off the
Jalen
hook.
Tyson.
They'd be off the hook.
Man, imagine.
Those Cleveland uniforms are ugly, but I might have to go get me another LeBron.
Keon Ellis is there now, too, traded for him. I like that flyer.
If that worked out, Cleveland, hey, they'd be making bank.
Just saying.
Yeah. I still like Giannis up at the Timberwolves, though.
I know you do.
He hasn't done anything yet. Yeah. The other trade that we talked about is Chicago Bulls, because that's a team that's loosely connected to Giannis. They traded Kobe White and Mike Conley to Charlotte for Colin Sexton, who's one of my favorite players, and was it Ousmane Dieng?
Dieng, yeah.
And 3 second-round picks. It's under the radar, but I like it, though. And then the Hornets also, they acquired Dang and a second-round pick from Oklahoma City when they, jettisoned Mason Plumlee.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Kobe White obviously when he's in the lineup, you thought he did okay. He was coming from North Carolina. I like Conley. It'll be interesting to see what the Chicago Bulls are in a weird spot.
They are. They're had a lot of guards.
Right.
So they get rid of 2 of them, bring in 1 in Sexton, but I think that's a decent consolidation for them.
And Sexton isn't, would he start? Yeah, right. I think
maybe.
Right. I think it's not somebody that's going to take away too much playing time.
Right.
I think I liked it when he was coming out. I think Bama and defensive prowess kind of his game never kind of went to the next level. Kind of like how your boy Bryce McCain, who's on the move to OKC.
Oh, Jared McCain.
Or Jared McCain.
My boy Jared, in his second year.
Yeah, which I think injuries hurt him, and he didn't fit in Philly.
With Maxi's development, and McCain being a smaller guard, I think there's more cover for him in OKC. He was playing pretty well before the knee injury that knocked him out. A surprising kind of under-the-radar guy that'll just add some shooting and compete, I think, for Oklahoma City. But, Jay, let's bring this full circle. Colin Sexton started his career playing alongside Darius Garland.
That's right.
In Cleveland.
Yeah, in Cleveland.
Colin Sexton got traded to Utah. For Spida Mitchell.
That's right.
And now, back in the Eastern Conference, I actually really like that trade for Charlotte because my guess is they buy out Mike Conley, who now can return to Minnesota under the Andrew Bogut rule. I mean, you get traded that many times, the first team or second team that trades for you doesn't keep you. Apparently, you can
get a buyout.
You get a buyout, which I think is good for a guy like Mike Conley to pick his spot. I think he's toward the end of his rope here when it comes to his time in the NBA. The candle's burnt pretty far down. But, if you keep him in Charlotte to mentor LaMelo, that's fine. But I also like Kobe White as a LaMelo replacement. He's coming off the bench, unless LaMelo's out of the lineup, right? To have that, 30-ish, game starter extrapolated over 82 games. I think he'll fit with a lot of what Charlotte wants to do. And Charlotte, all of a sudden, Jay, popping up in that play-in conversation. They're interesting. They're spicy.
Yeah, 7 in a row. Young team, talented. Look like they're trying to get it together with the crew. I got all their off-the-court stuff kind of handled and look like they're starting to gel a little bit. The one other big name traded is Chris Paul, who was sent home from the Clippers, got traded to Toronto. They said that he won't play it. He'd be like Carmelo Anthony with the Hawks.
The Hawks.
He'll be bought out by the time the trade goes through the NBA offices. So we'll see. Now you're just really waiting on Giannis. I doubt LeBron. I think besides Giannis, the other big name could be Draymond Green, potentially going to the Lakers or somewhere else. Draymond had mentioned it the other night that he has talked to Steve Kerr. So we shall see if those 2 big names move, especially Giannis. And this might be a pattern for the NBA. Every trade period or every trade deadline, a big name moves. If Giannis moves out of Milwaukee, where he goes next is going to really tip the scales for the NBA.
This Giannis will he, won't he kind of thing is kind of reaching Dame Lillard territory at this point. Not quite there.
He's not hiding behind anything. He's already said, I'm ready to go. So he's waiting for it to happen.
It's a weird middle ground between the Dame stuff, some of your normal like James Harden and Kevin Durant stuff on the other end. If a superstar is going to be traded, I don't mind how Giannis is handling it. Gave it a run. Yeah. I'm not going to blame
Probably
Giannis
a year too long.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm not going to blame Giannis for the way Milwaukee constructed its roster around him. He's shown up. He's gone to work, dealt with an injury here or there. But I don't think Giannis has been a problem. He hasn't been a diva about it. He's spoken how much he loves the city of Milwaukee, playing really well to, all NBA caliber level. So I think future superstars, if you want to get dealt, do your best to handle it like Giannis.
Yeah, he's been professional. Said all the right things, done all the right things, which obviously doubles down on what you say. So we shall see. But everybody's going to be on pins and needles. It sounds like Milwaukee has been sending tons of counter offers back to multiple teams. Let's see if they. I think sometimes teams like Milwaukee, like they'll try to get too much. You're on a full reset once you get rid of Giannis. You're maybe not get the total haul, get the big enough haul to where you kind of just part the ways, because the longer this goes on, the second half of the season, the less that you'll see Giannis, and then you'll get nothing.
So
or not nothing, but get potentially less.
2 things on that. Number one is the Bucks will more likely than not need to get some vets back to be competitive because they don't control their own firsts.
Yeah.
As bad as they're going to be, they got to try to fight and scratch and claw because they don't control their own destiny. So you could miss the playoffs and not have a good first-round pick because you traded it away. That's a problem. And number two, some of the better offers, just based on when contracts were signed and the way the NBA stuff is written, they might be able to get a better deal in the summer in terms of the players they could get back, right? If they're going for picks and that's what they think they can get, then they'll probably do it here at the deadline. It wouldn't shock me. But there are some more appealing offers potentially
in the summer
could come in the summer. So I ask you, Jay, would it be better for the NBA, for the league, to have a deal like this done at the deadline or to have some off-season news?
Well, I think it'd be for some off-season news because then you can get a clear picture. It can kind of be really strategic, in and around the draft and stuff like that. But, man, for Giannis, finally to admit I'm ready to go, probably has his family ready to go, brother's going as well, and then you got to be with Milwaukee for, like, the rest of the season.
Yeah, another 3 months, 4 months. Shoot, 6 months maybe.
That'd be horrible.
Man. I don't think Giannis would let it get toxic. It'd just be a tough
No, it just would be tough because the fans would, every game, like, this is the last game we're going to see him, as a Buck. So I think this right now, you can kind of, it'd be the biggest trade, but it'd be just in the flow with multiple big trades, and it won't seem as bad. But the NBA's got to do, or the Bucks are going to do what's best for the Bucks, like every professional team should and can do. So we're going to take a quick break, come back, put a bow on this. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, we'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Führer's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Way out there where the sun comes up under the big red sky, I do life the way I love, with family by my side. I feel home with me, no matter where I go.
Proud of where we're from, excited for where we're going. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. Got about a couple minutes. We're going to turn it over to Bill Mitchner, Lighthouse, doing everything that they always do. Bringing some good vibes here, like always. Appreciate their support as well.
Can I throw some breaking NFL news your way?
Uh-oh.
Eagles coach Jeff Stoutland announced he is leaving the organization.
There's something going on, because you know Vic Fangio almost retired. And and that's why they were kind of looking at Jim Schwartz. They said that if he left, Jim Schwartz would be there. Sounds like Vic Fangio is going to be there still, because they lost their passing game coordinator to, was it the Cardinals? To be the D coordinator?
Believe so.
Right.
Yeah.
So because he was probably he was the next in waiting. It's just interesting. I don't know if that's a Sirianni thing or just the aura thing, the AJ Brown and the whole Philadelphia thing, and or it's just kind of like he needs a break. I mean, that's
a big loss for him. I mean, that was the one. I mean, for the best roster in football. I mean, that was arguably the strength of their team.
You're right. Yeah. So it's
wow.
This offseason for Philly after the Super Bowl is going to be in rapid speed, you know, because A.J. Brown, you got to move him.
Yeah.
Then you got to replace him. Then you got Dallas Goedert, who's a former Pro Bowler tight end who barely got used this year. He's going to want to get on the move. Saquon set. Jalen, I mean, is Lane Johnson going to retire? You know,
kind of can't afford him to, but
what's next for this defense? Tremendously talented. We shall see. Anyways, we'll see tomorrow what comes of this. I doubt there'll be Huskers. I think the Huskers are locked in now. Because you know what I would do if Matt Rule, I'm locking the door. All right, nobody's leaving.
No, DeAndre Jordan style.
Yeah, nobody's leaving.
DeAndre Jordan
nobody's
style.
leaving. Yeah, we in there. Blood in and blood out. You know what I'm saying?
We in there, not you in there, not I'm in there.
We in there. Yeah, we in there. We're doing it. We taking the little back in the day. You cut your palm. So, anyways, from my main man Austin Norman, Jay Foreman, old school. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G1388852 and G16518. 2,500 down with proof credit.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
The Black Crows are coming to Pinewood Bowl on Tuesday, August 4th, and we want to give you the chance to win free tickets. Tune in all week long for chances to win a pair of tickets each day on The Drive with me, Nick Sainert, and Aaron Davis this week only.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Stop asking your friends if they're hosting a party this Sunday and come join the real party instead. Join 93.7 The Ticket for the Super Bowl at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O this Sunday and walk away with great prizes just for showing up. Why worry about making a great spread of foods for the game at your house when you can enjoy all the great wings and more at Buffalo Wings and Rings? It's the Super Bowl party with 93.7 The Ticket at Buffalo Wings and Rings this Sunday at 68th and O.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7